Stanley, forever and ever and ever.
Here's Johnny!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
All right.
I see what you did there, man.
Yeah, man. What's going on, everybody? Man,
Yep.
this is a passion project for sure. Like, man, y'all know probably anybody that's tuning in this channel. If this is your first time, like, let us know what you think. But me and Darren have like done a lot of damn work on this damn film, and this is my favorite film of all time. To me, it's the most perfect film, not just horror film, but the perfect mystery. It's got a deep personal connection to me as well. Like, it's kind of crazy, but we'll get into it. But yeah, this has been kind of nervous. Like, it's taken me a long time to really even, get up the courage to tackle this project. I know so many people have covered this film rigorously, and hopefully, going to bring something new, something different, different perspectives to the table a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you say, since we started doing this, we've been talking about doing this for a long time, but we thought this might be, because obviously we're early March. I think we were going to do this originally in February. So it's just like same time of the year, cold. We figured this would be a good choice. And yeah, there's so much hidden depth in this film. Anyone got their theories in the chat? Put everything out there, because I think with this one, no one's right, no one's wrong. It's all how you see the film yourself.
Definitely.
But yeah, there's some good stuff. There's some interesting things to talk about with this one, I think.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. We've been, like I said, been chomping at the bit, going through all kind of. I got the the Kubrick archives. Damn, it's got a lot of stuff in here.
Nice.
On The Shining and all of Kubrick's films. But I guess the first thing I can really talk about is when I first seen the film. When I was 6 years old. I saw this, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Exorcist, like all around the same time. And I remember seeing this. I kind of didn't see it from the beginning, but I remember seeing the bathtub scene was when I walked in. Okay,
yeah,
and I think it was blurred out on television, but that's what I remember, and I just remember seeing it again later, and it stuck with me, and it wasn't my favorite film, of course, at that age, but it wasn't until years later, man, where in 2015 is when this film actually became my favorite film. And it's I used to have a problem with alcohol. I'm not ashamed to say. So when I looked at this, I had a friend of mine make this wallet, and that's when I was getting sober. When I was
Nice, man.
sober when I was in 2015, and this was a constant reminder, like you don't want to turn into this kind of guy, you know, like because it's just pure rage, man, with this character. And but yeah, he put the red rum in the inside of it and everything, like so it's just but that's a big thing for me. And then I started getting into the deep study on the film, like what all
Right.
the heavy fucking layers, not just the surface level shit, you know.
This is a film you can't watch once, though, can you? Because once you start watching this film, you repeatedly want to go back and figure out more shit. And then even now, watching it 4 times this week, and I think Dirk done the same.
Yeah,
I'm still thinking of new shit in there. Like it's just incredible how this film just goes on and on and on and got this life. Yeah,
the
man,
closer you get to figuring everything out, you think
yeah,
you go
you
down
don't,
another fucking
yeah,
pathway in this fucking maze, and that's why I named the stream "Stepping Through the Maze," because in fucking 10
right.
years or shit, maybe 2 years from now, I'm gonna have some completely other fucking crazy theories. You know, like there's just more. It's the movie that keeps giving all the fucking time. You know, like,
It's one of the most rewatchable films.
yeah,
I got kind of so I'm old enough now to remember this coming out.
yeah,
So in the early days when we first rented VHSs, because my dad bought one of the early VHSs. I'm talking 1980, 81. And this was one we consistently rent from the shop. It was played all the time in the UK, undercut version, which we'll probably mention a little bit later. And
yeah.
it's just always stuck with me like dirt. It's just like, and
It's hypnotic, ain't it? I
it,
mean, really, for me.
you don't understand that shit when you're a kid. Like I agree with
No,
Dirk.
yeah,
And I've only recently, and I say recently in the last, say, 15 years, maybe a little bit before Dirk, gone back and really analyzed the film. And it's not my number one, but it's easily in my top 10.
yeah. Because I mean, I've had people ask me like that question, like if you had one film that you could watch forever, you're stranded on an island, and for me, it's easy. It's The Shining because it's the ultimate puzzle film that I'm constantly trying to figure out. But I think Kubrick left pieces out on purpose, like so
Oh,
people
God.
would discuss and debate for forever, like to keep it timeless, to keep it forever, kind of deal, you know,
Yeah,
and
well,
ever and
it's
ever,
like
right?
an
Like,
ever and ever. Yeah, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. The way
yeah,
he shoots it, he's giving you little bits of information. You're there, and you've got to process this and come up with your own solution as to why it. And we're both coming to that. I think Dirk's got a different approach to what I do in trying to work out what's going on. But no, like I say, no one's going to be right. Anyone with their comments, just put in, what they think their
yeah,
interpretation of the film is. Put in the comments, and we'll look them as well.
yeah, man. I see we got some people in here. Let's see who's in here. Got my beautiful wife in here. Hello, everyone. Y'all won't want to miss this. This is going to be very interesting and fun. Like and comment. Well, thank you.
Hey, what's up, Tash?
I appreciate it. JB says, love that shirt, Dirt. What's up, Darren? What a movie, guys. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
And shout out to Brian Goes Blue. He gave me this is another shout out to Creepo Rama. So this is a badass, like pretty, I waited, I had to wait long enough, but it's pretty damn killer, man.
That
The design.
artwork looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's got shit on both sleeves all over it. I mean, I couldn't ask for something better, but
and it coming
yeah,
just in time.
Shout out to Creepo Rama and shout out to Brian Goes Blue, man. So
yeah.
but we got Holland Oates. He says, "What's up, Dirk and Darren? I got The Shining." Okay, he's got
What's
The
up,
Shining,
man?
like Danny and Halloran.
Yeah.
And we got Dead Pit in here. We got CK in here. Hey, balls, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
I think The Shining for me is the most rewatchable movie of all time. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard other people like Stephen King. He he talks about his version's better, right? You know, but I'm just like,
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Some people absolutely hate this film as well. So
yeah. I haven't heard too many
it's
say.
divisive in some ways.
I haven't heard too many say that they hate this film. Like, I've heard the miniseries King version, you know, but
Oh God, that's yeah.
But let's see. JB says Kubrick was super intelligent, practically genius level. He was. He had an IQ of 200. Believe it or not.
He was a 1% in the planet.
Yeah. We got Texas in here. Welcome to the panel of pain. What's happening,
Hey,
man?
what's up, Tex, man?
Ultraviolet hippie in here. What's going on, y'all? I watched The
what's-
Blackening, Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead, and Claudio Fragaso's Beyond Darkness today. So I've had a pretty good day. Rest in peace to Fragaso's wife, Rosella Drudy. Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah.
Evil Dead in there.
Yeah, man. Let's see. Everybody's saying, hey, we got Pops Movie Dungeon here. Alan, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Pops?
Yeah, glad you popped in, man. This one right here, man, this is holy shit. Like I said, I'm still kind of nervous to approach this damn film. Like, but we're gonna get it, man. We're gonna get it going.
Oh God, yeah, we'll cover it.
And we got Gore Guts. Kubrick is the GOAT, period. I couldn't agree, man. More. That's the best director of all time. My
It's
opinion.
hard to argue. It's hard to argue the fact, yeah.
You got the mayor in here. Yet there's someone we all know that said it's oranges and apples on The Shining adaptation.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, man, hell, I don't know. Where do you want to go from here? You want to get on Kubrick, or you want to talk about your experiences? Like, you've kind of a little bit.
Yeah, but pretty much like it was a staple on UK TV throughout the early 80s. Well, throughout the 80s in general. And even now they show it every once in a while. But in terms of, I don't know if you've got anything, if you want to go over Kubrick, because I got a little bit on the three principal actors in it as well that we could start.
Yeah, I will. But I did want to mention that, like, King's novel. So I did listen to the audiobook of The Shining, and I read it a long time ago when I was like in junior high. And I went back and listened to the audiobook, and it's polar opposite. Completely, to me, like, I know Kubrick, he was researching, and he wanted to do a horror movie. He said he wanted to make the best horror movie ever made. And that was his goal. And he was looking, and he was reading all these different novels. And I think it was the producer that he was working with mentioned The Shining, gave it to him. He loved the idea, the source material, but he got with Diane Johnson, who was a Gothic writer, and she was at Berkeley University teaching a course on Gothic novel, like how to write, I guess, Gothic novels. And they got together for a solid month and to just discuss the King novel, like what they were going to change and everything. So, and I know I've heard a lot of people always shit on Kubrick because they say, well, he don't write his own material. So I read his explanation why he doesn't. He said he don't write his own material because he feels like you're not going to judge your own material. You're going to have some kind of bias, right?
Yeah.
So somebody else's material, he can make it exactly and twist it any kind of way and edit it and take out what's wrong with it and everything. So that's why he always did that. But he did the same thing with Anthony Burgess on A Clockwork Orange. King presented him a screenplay, and he didn't even look at it. He refused to even look at the shit. And like,
right. Yeah.
He did the same thing with Anthony Burgess for A Clockwork Orange, though. So he's like, look, I got the rights. It's my shit, kind of deal.
Isn't the book more of like kind of just like a haunted hotel? I think the book is kind of based on the Legend of Hill House. The Haunting of Hill House.
And it's way different. Jack Torrance in that, he's struggling with, like, he's recovering alcoholic, but he has a better relationship with Danny in the book.
Yeah.
Danny actually takes to Jack more than his own mother. And his mother, by the way, Wendy in the novel, is beautiful. That's how she's described. And there's some pervy little things that King does in that novel, right? Like with Wendy, with Danny too. I was like, holy shit. But
that
when we
seems
get
to be a
into it,
thing with Stephen King as well. With the
yeah,
because you said about the book It, there's a lot of creepy like stuff
yeah,
in
he's
there
got
too.
children full on having sex in it, right? So
Yeah. So
in a very descriptive way. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, man, yeah, I'm pretty stoked for this one, man. So
yeah, I like to say this has been a long time in coming.
I can but like Kubrick, man, he was like Frank Sinatra, right? He's gonna do it his own way. He wasn't gonna listen to. He'd already done a film with Kirk Douglas, Spartacus, and he had full control of Spartacus, and he wasn't gonna do that shit anymore. So he took on what he wanted. I'm not gonna go too far into all that, but so he made 13 films in 40 years, right?
Well,
I mean,
yeah, because he took so long on each film. Like
he's very
Eyes Wide Shut
meticulous.
was 2
Yeah.
years. This was a year, I think. Originally going to be
It was
kind of
scheduled for 17 weeks and ended up being 14 months.
yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
But to me, I think he's made the best science fiction film ever made in 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think he's made the best horror film ever made in The Shining.
Yeah.
And I think he's made the best Vietnam or war film in Full Metal Jacket. At least those three, you know.
I think if you put Eyes Wide Shut in the thriller category, I think it's one of the best thrillers ever made as well.
Oh, it is, no doubt about it. And it might be one of the best cult films, right? like about a cult, you know, like
yeah.
Yeah, it's
that's close for me, man. Eyes Wide Shut, even though The Shining is a better film, it's fucking close for me between them two. You know, I'm a massive Eyes Wide Shut fan.
Oh yeah, me too.
Completely different films, obviously, but I think you've got a theory later on that kind of combines the two, which is going to be interesting to hear.
Eyes Wide Shut pairs so well with The Shining. There's so many similarities, like just on the family level, like they're like mirror, like Bill and Jack are kind of like opposites, because Jack, you see, he don't give a shit about his wife, and he don't really like his son, because his son has a gift and Jack don't have. Like, he might have The Shining, but that's kind of ambiguous too. No, you don't really know. But Danny definitely has a gift, and he's, Jack has like this mental block going on, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But I'm not going to go too far because we got to go through the whole entire film. So,
yeah.
But I wanted to mention, the best urban violence film, In A Clockwork Orange. Like, I don't know if most people would agree with that, but I love A Clockwork Orange.
I don't think you can argue that either. Yeah.
Yes. And the shit that it caused. I mean, there was people in the UK threatening Kubrick's family and him and his family. And people were doing the shit that the Droogs were doing in the film.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy shit, man.
I read somewhere as well that Kubrick moved to the UK because he was so worried about nuclear, the nuclear bomb going off, that he thought the UK was kind of like a safe place.
Well, he hated Hollywood.
Right, as well. Yeah.
He hated Hollywood. And matter of fact, he did everything out of his home. So he edited everything out of his home. The studio where The Shining's filmed, and like most other films that he made, was 9 miles away.
Wow. Yeah.
From his home.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody that was trying different roles for the film was on a VHS tape. That's how he was figuring out who he wanted. So, like for
Wow,
instance, like Danny Lloyd, 5,000 boys. Danny Lloyd was picked out of 5,000 boys, and he's the son of an engineer. So, yeah, he had to be smart, and Danny, man, the little boy, Danny Lloyd, he would go take after take after take, and he didn't know he was in a horror film, right? You know, like,
I think it's one of the best child performances ever.
I think it is.
I can't think of
yeah.
You know, you've got Reagan, you know, Linda
I'm pretty
Blair
biased
as well.
yeah.
But like you say, with him as an actor, you come into the film and there's a little bit on the making of behind the scenes where he talked about spending all the money and that. Did you see that bit when he said about his parents getting money for his role?
Yeah.
And
that's the Vivian Kubrick documentary.
Yeah, which was originally on the BBC. They showed that a lot.
Right.
I was kind of disappointed with it because it's more of just his daughter going around with a handheld than anything else. Edited
supposedly
with
supposedly she shot over 100,000 feet of behind the scenes, but it's only 30 minutes.
I'm wondering where that material is, because if that material still exists,
knowing Kubrick, I'm pretty sure he edited it. You know what I mean? Like, so
he probably chucked the rest away, because he did do something which we'll mention later on with the ending. Right. I was reading there's two kind of endings that were shown in the cinema, but again, I don't want to jump the gun. But in terms of Danny Lloyd,
hold on, let me catch you.
Oh, go on, and then
let me go through this chat right quick.
Yeah.
Let's see. Laugh my ass off, Mayor. I can only imagine. Some people think Kubrick and government faked lunar landing. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's been a big one. Because Danny's wearing the Apollo shirt and everything, and some shit to do with 237, the number, and I don't know if I subscribe to that one, but
I think there could be an element of truth to it. I'm not saying I'm a fucking crackpot who believes it, but it's possible. I would say
they said that a lot of people thought Kubrick filmed the moon landing. You know?
Yeah.
The mayor says, I'm still salty that I gave her the idea for her apples and oranges show.
Oh, shit.
Texas says, I'm not going to even say anything. Text to quote Sergeant Schultz, I know nothing. Yeah. All right. But yeah, man, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all right. No.
I just want to keep it caught up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, I'll just briefly mention the three main actors in this, which a lot of people are going to know anyway. So you've got Jack Nicholson, he plays Jack Torrance. He won 3 Academy Awards, endless BAFTAs, Golden Globes, won for Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Chinatown.
Great film.
Yeah, it is. The Departed, obviously Batman. And he's been retired since 2010, but I was telling Dirk a little bit beforehand, there's a really weird thing with his childhood. So his early life, he grew up believing his grandmother was his mother and his mother was his older sister, kind of the Ted Bundy thing going on. And he only found out the truth in 1974, a long time after he was famous. So I was like, yeah, I've never heard that before. Shelley Duvall obviously plays Wendy. She began acting in the 70s. Working most notably with Robert Altman, a very famous director.
Yeah, she did. 3 Women?
Yeah, she did.
I know Kubrick spoke highly of hers. Contrary to what most people think about Kubrick, is his treatment to Shelley Duvall. He loved everything she did.
I tell you what, she's perfect for the role as well, because she's got like a vulnerability about her, which you can see. We'll mention when we mention later with the making of, she literally collapses. And you can see the amount of like struggle and stress she had to play this role. She's fucking superb. And it comes out on screen as well. Everyone mentions Jack Nicholson and Danny. Like I think the 3 of them are all equally as good.
And Scatman Crothers, man.
Yeah. He went through a lot as well. He ended up crying in that documentary where
Right.
He literally, I read something with him as well where he kind of knew every song. He was like, he grew up in bands, you know, he's a lead singer and he played in a lot of bands when he was younger. And he could recite any fucking lyric to any song.
Yeah.
Yet he had trouble remembering his lines for this film.
Right.
I don't know whether that was being under pressure with Kubrick, because it's quite daunting coming into this. You know, you've got a legend, obviously.
But so I know a lot of people like got their opinion of Kubrick from like that documentary that Vivian made, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But from what I've read about him, like he was so calm and he relaxed actors. Now Shelley Duvall, he didn't relax her because he wanted her to be stressed out. I know it might not be the best way to do it, but he wanted her to be like, you know, he told like the crew to not sympathize with her and shit, like, you know, like to keep her under stress. And you know, who's to say, man? We wasn't there, right? So I do know that most people complained about his many takes, but the way he looked at filmmaking was, look, we've spent all this time, we spent all this money preparing for this moment. We're going to have as many options as I can get. And
yeah, 40 or 50. Yeah.
Yeah, he says everybody else does the shit backwards. You know, like he don't care if the first take's perfect. He wants to make sure. So like, you know, so I mean, that's just how he was, man. And that comes a lot from him being a photographer before anything. He was fascinated with photography at 12 years old. His dad gave him a camera when he was 12. He worked for Look magazine for like 4 years when he was like 20, you know?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And then he did his first film with Fear and Desire in 1953. I know he did some short films before that, but yeah, man, I'm just kind of going on a tangent.
Everything with Kubrick, every single scene with Kubrick is there for a reason. So we're going to come into all the little details in different scenes. Just a little bit more about Shelley Duvall. I think it's well documented. She had personal and health problems. And she passed away, sadly, back last year.
Rest in peace, for sure.
I think CK and Uncle Bill got the last interview with her, but they said, you know, out of respect, they didn't really want to play it because she was in a bad way. But we did just touch upon Danny Lloyd. Super amazing performance. He did go on and do another film after this called Will G. Gordon Liddy. But I don't know. We don't know if because of this film is the reason he quit acting. I would imagine it had one hell of like an effect on him. Even though behind the scenes he looks like he's having fun. It must have been hard, you know?
Yeah, that what was it? The Guinness World Book of Records was so many takes for that conversation with Danny Lloyd and Scatman Crothers. I think it's 80. Wasn't it 80?
It is. Yeah. I think
80 takes.
Scatman Crothers at the end of that started crying.
Yeah, he broke down. He's like, "What do you want, Mr. Kubrick?" And then Kubrick just calmly said, "Let's do it again."
Yeah.
You know,
I think he did. I think, that was, I think they did one more take after that as well. And Kubrick said, we got it, you know, because he took a little bit of sympathy on Scatman Crothers.
Right.
But yeah, funny enough, he's a school teacher. He worked as a school teacher, Danny Lloyd, and he did come back for a cameo in Doctor Sleep, which I still haven't seen, by the way. And I'm so nervous in going to watch Doctor Sleep because I love this film so much.
Well,
I don't want it to cloud.
It's not going to change nothing. It's not going to change anything. I watched Doctor Sleep. I went to the theater and seen it, and I like the film. I don't love the film, but I like it. It's you know, it's not really, to me, the sequel to this film. It's the sequel to King's novel, to me. You know.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, kind of like Flanagan's. He's towing the line in the film. He's trying to make Kubrick fans happy. He's trying to make King fans happy at the same time, which for me, I think he pulled it off for what, you know, everybody was expecting it to be a piece of shit. But see, the book was written in 2013, I believe, by King. So that's kind of like, just because King was throwing his temper tantrum kind of deal. Like,
didn't Flanagan, didn't he recreate the lift scene with the blood in that film?
It's been a while. I think so.
Yeah, I think he did. I think from
Yeah,
what I've seen, I may have seen that in the trailer.
The Overlook looked pretty good, like the way they built it and everything. It did look pretty good. Let's see. We got David Ryder in here. What's going on? He says Kubrick did film the moon landing, but he insisted it be done on location.
Okay, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
JB says, love Shelley Duvall in this film. What an actress. Yeah. And she won a Razzie for her performance. Her and Kubrick won a Razzie too. Like, that was kind of crazy.
That's complete fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. Like Brian De Palma as well. The Dress to Kill, I think he won a Razzie.
Well, like, crazy. But people shit on it a lot, but if you look at the box office numbers, it was a huge commercial success for Kubrick.
Yeah.
Critics shit all over it. But I do have some couple critics that I have a couple of things that some good things were said as well. Alpha Romero says, do you personally like the idea of a director doing that many takes? Some say it's a sign of a director who's unprepared and unsure of what they want.
Hey,
I think with Kubrick, I think with Kubrick, he's like 1 in a million kind of guy. And I think the way his brain worked is he wanted to have so many options because, it's true that the actors are having to do that many takes, but everybody on the set's got to be there doing all those takes too. Like Kubrick. Kubrick was working 18 hours a day, man. Sometimes longer than that. So that's how obsessive he was with the craft.
I think they were doing like 20-hour days. I know what Jack Nicholson would do was, because he wouldn't stay. He was set up in Chelsea, which is quite a fair way away from where they were shooting. And what he would do, he would literally stay up every night. He would have as little sleep as he could. He'd grab a couple of hours sleep on the journey to, location work on The Shining. And then that's why throughout the whole film, if you look at Jack Nicholson, he looks like he hasn't slept. And that's all real. That's not makeup,
I think that's part of the look that Kubrick's trying to get to, like.
Yeah.
And so I've heard that as well, like the over the top kind of kabuki scenes with Jack Nicholson. A lot of those takes are the ones that Kubrick ended up using because like he's out of his fucking mind, But Alpha says, I don't feel like that applies to Kubrick, but at what point is it overkill? I get what you're saying. I know Scatman Crothers, he was forgetting his lines though. With him, with Wendy, if you watch that documentary, it does look like he's being mean to her, but then also it looks like she's stalling up production at some parts in that. If you watch it right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it didn't look that bad to me because I've read for years that he'd give her a bad time, And then when I was watching that scene, he was a little bit off with her, but I don't think he seemed that bad to me because
he wasn't like Lucio. He wasn't like Fulci. You know what I mean? He wasn't cussing people out.
No, that's right. Yeah. And they were confusing her as well because she was told to get ready for a certain scene. Then they were saying, no, you're okay. So she was like grabbing a drink or whatever she had to do. And then all of a sudden, Kubrick would call her, action. And she didn't know where she was fucking coming or going. Yeah.
Or she
and that's why
lay down
such a great performance. That's right. Yeah.
And he's like, look, I'm paying you, you're supposed to be doing your job. You're like,
but
you know what I mean?
It's nice to see the interview after the film where she does actually say, I completely love Stanley Kubrick. I respect him and all that. I realize what he's trying to do is get a performance, which he did.
Yeah. And she said that he taught her more than any other director than Altman, right?
Yeah. In 1 year, she said she learned more, and
Yeah.
Altman's like one of the greatest as well. You know,
We got Justin Marino in here. What's up, man? What's
hey,
going
what's
on?
up?
He says, I think it's better to get more than less. I think so. I think
I
it is.
do as well. I mean, I don't know so much about this time. Was 1980, like you say? Was this this was early on, obviously, in his filmography. Was it his second film? You said, Dirk?
No.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay.
No,
But he'd
no,
done a
this
lot of shorts and stuff as well, yeah.
yeah, but no, his first film was in 1953.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fear and Desire is his
So,
first film, and then he did I want to say Killer's Kiss, and then he did The Killing,
which
and
is a classic, by the way, yeah.
then you got Space Odyssey in there. You got Paths of Glory. I mean, there's like I said, he did 13 films. So
Oh shit, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, by the time this film come out, like all the actors, actresses, like knew his pedigree at this time. So they just went with it, you know. And you've even got the story with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, where he put them through hell as well. But they just embraced it. They just, you know,
and so many did. Matter. So many. I've heard like the comment that he was like a general that everybody wanted to work for. He was like a military general that everybody wanted to work for because they knew it was going to be something like epic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. The mayor says, I've loved The Shining ever since I saw it at the theater when it first came out. Now that'd have been awesome. I'm wondering, did you get to see that last scene that so there's a hospital scene when it came out in the theater, and I know about it, but I've never seen it. So
there's a scene as well with the tennis ball and Danny.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's all in the same scene then, because in it, Allman goes to the hospital, I think, to see
he
Wendy
comes
and
from
Danny.
Florida.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it at the end.
Apparently that was actually shown, like you say, in theaters, but we will come on to that, definitely.
Right. Let's see. The mayor says, I saw an interview with Shelley Duvall where she said that doing The Shining was the best experience of acting for Kubrick, but she also said that she wouldn't want to go through that experience again. Right.
Yeah, you can tell. It's just 1 year, literally, of hell.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to wear the same clothes as well, you know, for literally a year. I know they had different, you know.
I'm sure they had multiple sets.
But it's still grimy, you know, and all that.
But let's see. I've kind of covered on that. So there's like only one guy that really got to interview. Like, I'm not going to say only one, but the guy's name is I got it here.
You on about interview Kubrick, yeah?
Yeah. I'm trying to find the guy's name. I can't remember. I'm bad. I'm horrible with names. Oh man. Anyway, he asked him, he's like, is it a thrill like being a detective for you to research and gather information? And he's like, yeah. Kubrick's like, it's like a detective looking for clues. It says lighting, lenses, and composition has to be the director's best helper. That's the first and foremost and most important. So with Kubrick, like, meaning he didn't want to over-explain anything with words. He thought that words cheapened the experience. He wanted everything to show through visuals on a lot of his things, you know?
Right. Yeah.
He didn't want to over-explain anything. And a lot of his films have the same damn themes. And I think all of his films in some way or another are about the human condition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
There's different levels though. Like in Eyes Wide Shut, it's more about relationships. In The Shining, I would say, is shit. What would you? Well, how would you
You
explain that?
could say it's about
It's.
the,
I think
the
it's
family unit. The family unit, I'd say, comes into it.
family unit, but also very bad personality. like
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
I don't know. There's a
so
lot of
much.
ways.
There's
Yeah.
so much supernatural.
Right.
But I was gonna say to you as well, because the actual look of the Overlook Hotel, I for years thought this was a real, like all the interiors, I thought this was a real hotel, but no. It's the outlook is, when we see all the outside, that was a proper hotel, but all the inside stuff in this wasn't.
Right.
And man, it fucking had me fooled for years.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people say about the geography of the place doesn't really work if you watch the film so many times, but I mean, it fucking works for me, man. There's even little things in the film which we'll come on to as well, where they designed the carpet turns upside down. You've got continuity shots where a chair in one scene is not there, and
right, and
but it's all done on purpose. Do you think, Dirk?
I know it is. Yeah, definitely. Like so, Danny's in the hallway, and if you watch close, he's sitting there in the hallway. He's playing with his cars in the pattern, and there's like a line.
Right.
Danny's like right here, and there's a line right here, and you see a tennis ball roll down that line toward Danny. And then when Danny stands up, the line is behind Danny.
Exactly.
It's not in front of Danny.
It's all done for a reason. It's all done.
And it's like everything's flipped, like a mirror image of reality or some weird shit, right? And then you hear Danny thinks he hears his mother calling. So then he goes into room 237. But like, I don't want to go into the film yet. So
no, we're gonna go through everything anyway.
I mean, I got a ton of stuff, man. You want to go ahead and start going through the film? Like,
yeah, we can, and then we can still. We're gonna go off on different tangents anyway. I would imagine all the way through. And we got.
I'm trying not to get carried away and space cadet shit out, But
so you've got to mention the opening scene, right? So it opens up with this like just foreboding music, that like impending doom type music. And that's a track called Dies Irae, which is a medieval Latin hymn. Translated, it means Day of Wrath. And that was composed by Wendy Carlos and Rachel Elkind. And you've got the weird helicopter shot, which Kubrick didn't film, by the way, because he was so. He's scared of flying.
That's the second unit, and that was Doug Milson that did those shots in a helicopter, and I believe they shot it from the front of the helicopter.
They tied a camera to the front of the helicopter, and that's why you get that effect.
You barely see a helicopter blade.
In
one scene. Like I think it's like when you're looking at the Overlook, right?
Yeah.
I believe that's when you see the blades. You barely see the blades. But
I mean, that's got to be one of the most unsettling opening scenes.
Just that opening though, like it looks like something's following Jack, right?
Yeah.
In his yellow bug, like something's following him. Something massive is going to happen. I mean, on that opening shot, it's like a little island, and it's just following the damn yellow bug and shit.
You see him go up through the mountains.
It's so damn small.
So stylishly done. But the music just gives you this like really unsettling feeling. You can't even, trying to talk about it. You can't even put words into how that scene plays out.
Right.
So creepy to open. And then you've got it's all done in stages then, isn't it? So we get like little headings for different chapters. So we've got the interview.
Yeah.
So Jack Torrance, he shows up at the Overlook for this interview. You've got Mr. Allman, superb, by the way, the actor who played him. Like he absolutely superb, like kind of cameo role. But his office and a lot of people have commented on this, so I don't want to go too much into it, but it is strange the way you've got the window
Yeah.
and you've got the plants.
It don't make
just
sense.
weird. It doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
It don't make
it doesn't.
sense. Like if you look at the overlook from the outside, where his office is, with the window.
Yeah. And you've got his whole like his assistant or the kid. I think it's the actual summer caretaker comes in the room as well, and he's kind of off as well. His character. But
he's
you
very off.
won't know. Yeah, I didn't notice that until I paid attention to the film.
Yeah,
but he says a couple of things. You go like when he's
telling him to get the luggage. He's like, fine,
and just walks out. I didn't.
He says fine again, and then like during the interview though, like before that though, right? During the interview, he's just like got this scowl looking at fucking Jack, like like he can't stand him kind of look. I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think that was? You think that's just because he's taking his job or what? But
that's kind of what I got. But who knows? Who fucking knows?
Who
that's
knows?
The thing about
and another thing is, so in the first interview, do you actually think Jack is fucking insane? Even then,
I don't think Jack's insane. I think he's Jack's very disappointed in himself, in his life, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think he's pretty much fucking like a loser,
right?
And he's trying to go places in life now, and he has this opportunity to be a part of these people at this hotel, the Overlook, right?
Yeah,
that's what I think. And
so yeah,
and he's lying and shit. He's like saying Wendy's a big fucking horror fan and shit, and that never comes up in the movie ever. You never see her watching horror movies. I mean, she's watching Summer of 42 with Danny later, but
yeah. So do you think, because he mentions that he used to be a school teacher, but now he's a writer, so you think, like he's not lying about that? You think that's all proper?
No, he was a teacher. Because and so I guess going to the novel, that's kind of where it touches a little bit. Like in the novel, he was a teacher and he beat up one of the kids or something because the kid was vandalizing his car.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know if we want to bring the novel to this, but either way,
I mean, yeah, feel free to just mention things,
Okay.
But the whole backstory of the hotel is it was built in 1907.
Right.
And it was built on some kind of strange Indian
burial ground. Yeah, between 1907 and 1909. 1909 is when it was finished, and then Ullman explains that they had to fight Native Americans off while they were building it, right?
Yeah.
So,
and he goes off then into this story, which is superb, about how back in 1970, the caretaker there actually just had cabin fever. He was up there with his daughters and his wife, and he ended up butchering and killing the three of them with an axe. And like Jack is just laid back. He's like, I can assure you that's not going to happen to me.
And when Ullman tells Jack that, you see the camera just focuses in on Jack, unsettling for a few seconds, and you're looking at Jack's expression. He's like, it's making you feel uncomfortable. That's what I feel like it's trying to do. And
yeah.
And then, but he says Charles Grady.
Right? He does, yeah. And it's Delbert Grady later on.
Later, there's a Delbert Grady.
So I'm presuming one of them is like a second name.
Yeah.
But the way he just describes to Jack about the isolation of the hotel, everyone would think you're going to a hotel for 5 months, it's going to be fairly easy and all that, but it's not, because they're stranded in the snow. There's all the roads during winter are so bad that they can't get out. No phone lines. Once the phones go down, that's it till the summer.
Yeah.
And just the way he portrays that speech is superb about the isolation. And this is not going to be like a fucking bed of roses, He said the little jobs you got to do is fairly easy, but he's trying to
heat the different parts of the hotel with the boiler room, and
Which
everything.
Wendy does a lot of that shit, doesn't she herself?
Yeah,
During the
Jack
film?
don't do shit, but all he does is he's working on his he's very committed to his work, you know.
Well, yeah, until we see a scene a bit later as well, which we figure out what he's been doing. But no, I mean that what a way, man. The first two scenes just to open up a horror film, you know.
And the novel's way different as far as the like I said, between Wendy and Jack in the novel. Like Wendy's keeps blaming Jack over and over for his drinking for breaking Danny's arm. Right?
Yeah.
In the novel. But in The Shining, he dislocated his shoulder, what I thought. But I don't know.
But
anyway,
that's like a big plot point in it to come. But when Jack's in the interview, so it undercuts with a scene where Danny's at home with Wendy, and he starts talking about Tony, his imaginary friend, and all that apparently was improvised when he had the interview to do, like when Danny was literally getting interviewed to do the film. He made up this Tony character, and he was doing all that. And that's why Kubrick, that was part of the reason why Kubrick, got him as well. That's why I was reading. All that was just improvised. And
Tony's in the novel.
The film. Oh, okay. So, maybe someone had spoken to him, but I was at the belief that he just done that on the spur of the moment. So maybe not then. So,
but he don't do that. Like Tony don't do that. He actually sees Tony, but he can't. But Tony's always at a distance.
Oh, so okay. So he did do the finger. Yeah.
But he don't do that in the novel. Yeah, he don't do that.
That's right. That makes sense.
But he always sees Tony like at a distance, and Tony keeps showing him shit, in the novel.
But it's quite eerie, those first few scenes as well, because he tells his mother that, or Tony tells, I think is it Tony tells him that he's gonna Jack's gonna be phoning Wendy to say that he's got the job, and this is before they even know, while the interview's going on, which is kind of creepy,
Let me catch the chat right quick. The mayor's asking. He says, "Was that scene after the credits? Because if it was, I already had left when the credits started rolling. After credit scenes weren't a thing back then like they are today. I don't believe it was. Yeah,
I mean, no one knows, do they really?
But I know that it wasn't like very much. Like it was in the opening week, I guess, when it came out, and it might not have been everywhere. But I know that somebody came to Kubrick and Kubrick was like, "Hey, don't tell me how to direct a film." And then he was like, he kind of agreed. He's like, "Yeah, we need to get rid of that scene."
It was showed in New York, I believe, because
11 screens it came out on.
Keith Gordon, who's in Dress to Kill, he said he went to see the film and he kind of remembered the scene, but he said it was such a nonsensical or just nothing to the scene at all. So I think that's why Kubrick got rid of it. But Kubrick completely had it destroyed, which I believe, there's no way of seeing that scene now, I don't think.
I don't know. I know that it was when we get to it, it's going to be pretty interesting though. Like it's kind of crazy, actually.
So, yeah.
Let's see. I'm surprised that there hasn't been a special edition release with that hospital scene, unless it. Yeah,
no, I don't think it exists. Yeah,
he might have destroyed it. I need to get a vinyl copy of the Shining soundtrack. Hell yeah, man. You've always been the caretakers, Darren and Dirk.
I wouldn't want to end up like that.
He says back in 1970, Omen's predecessor.
Yeah.
It's what the old folks used to call cabin fever, a sort of claustrophobic reaction to the isolation. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
But sorry, man.
That's all right. I was going to mention the next scene I didn't get to see in the UK.
Yeah.
Because it's for some reason they butchered it from the UK version. So you've got the whole scene with the woman doctor. She visits because at this point Danny's had some kind of fit, some kind of seizure. when he's in the bathroom and he's talking to Tony.
But Tony shows Danny the blood ghost.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the blood ghost from the elevator, like, because Danny keeps pestering Tony. He's like, "Why don't you want to go?" Because he's asking Tony. He's like, "Did my dad get the job, or do you think my dad's going to get the job?" And Tony says he already did.
Yeah, so
And
chilling, man.
he's telling him that he don't want to go. But in that scene, if you pay attention on the door, I'm sure most diehard Shining fans know this, but there's a sticker of Dopey, one of the seven dwarfs, on the door. And then when Danny goes, brushes in his teeth, and after that shit happens, and his mom goes to close the door, Dopey's gone. So that kind of like Kubrick was big with symbolism. So I think that represents an awakening in Danny. Danny's no longer dopey. He's no longer stupid.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Right.
That there's only one explanation, and that is it.
And there's been a million. I mean, a lot of people pointed that out. Rob Ager might have pointed that out to me first, though. I don't know. I got to give shout outs to people that I highly respect as far as diving into The Shining. I can't think of anybody more knowledgeable about The Shining than Rob Ager.
Go and check his channel. Like,
yeah, Collective Learning.
Collective Learning, yeah. The guy is just superb. He just goes.
He comes up with some wild
angles.
theories. I mean, they're valid though. He's got good explanations for everything.
Oh no, he completely researches everything.
Yeah.
In terms of what he puts out there. But like I say, with the whole story, then with the woman kind of doctor visiting the house, and Wendy has to tell her, or feels that she has to tell her about the abuse Jack was given to Danny. And there's kind of an awkward scene where she tries to like make light of the fact, trying to stick up for Jack, saying,
the social worker or the pediatrician, I mean, is she's just like an all. Her face is just, it does that same pan like it did on Jack, that uncomfortable few seconds shot, we got to back up a little bit though, because I got to mention this. And here's a theory I got. We kind of skipped over it. Before the interview, Jack's in the lounge and he's looking at a Playgirl magazine.
Yeah.
Right. And I know there's theories out there on what that means, whatever. But my theory is this. I think that is kind of like a shout out to Stephen King from Kubrick, because Jack Torrance he knew how personal Jack Torrance was to Stephen King. And I think that's kind of like maybe a jab at King because of some of his work. Maybe if you look at the Shining novel, there's some pretty questionable things. We'll get into it once the scenes come up. But
with that scene, right? So if you actually go and look at the actual edition of Playgirl, there's an article on incest in there. And this is why I'm coming around to the fact that I do think Jack has been molesting Danny. I know Dirk's kind of felt that for a while, but you kind of not so much now.
I think there's holes in that a little bit. But on that cover,
just that magazine alone, I think confirms that for me. But,
I kind of feel like, to me, that's Kubrick's way of jabbing at King, but I could be wrong. Like, who knows? But who knows for sure, right?
Oh God, yeah. Knowing Stephen King's history as well, with, like you say.
But why in the hell would there be a Playgirl magazine out in the open in a hotel lounge, like waiting on an interview?
And why would he be reading it with his employer? It's coming to
it's like it's no big deal. He just throws it on the chair behind him, right?
And you've got in the background of that scene as well, where they've got so many suits and suitcases, more than you would ever need. I don't know if that's a reference to the Holocaust, I believe. Because I do.
We're going to touch on here.
Oh, man, I want to see the Jamie get well soon, because she had a stroke a week or so ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And lucky enough, she was able to leave the hospital after a few days, I believe. So get well soon, Jamie. I hope You know,
Yeah,
my mother suffered from a stroke, so I know what you're going through.
yeah.
And
Hope you're feeling better for sure.
Stay positive. Stay positive. That's the thing.
Appreciate
Sorry,
you.
I had to say that.
Appreciate you stopping by for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hate to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Hey, Justin
everyone
Marino says,
keep Jamie in their prayers.
yeah, good to see you. Hell yeah. Justin Marino says Cinema Tyler has a lot of in-depth videos on Kubrick's films. Okay. All right. I don't think I've heard of him, but I might check him out.
Cinema Tyler, I'll have to look that one, yeah.
Alpha says, hey Jamie, yeah. I've read The Shining Dirt. The book doesn't have that angle. That was Kubrick's edition. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some questionable shit in the book for sure. I recently just went back through the novel, and I mean, I could say it now, but I was kind of waiting until we get to that angle, until we get to that part of the story.
Yeah.
But let's see. Hey Jamie, I'm so happy that you're feeling better. Yeah, definitely. Yes, I had
100%.
a stroke on the 21st. Really scary. Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh man, yeah.
My husband acted quickly and saved my life. Awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Good to hear. But yeah, there is some questionable things though. Like I said, I'm gonna wait because we're going through the entire film. There's a scene with the dog costume man with Danny. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll leave it at that for now. But
you've got some insight into that, and I think you've got some insight into the room 237 when we see literally see that woman. So yeah. But in terms of like, you know, so we jump onto like closing day then, where you've got a great shot of the car going up to the Overlook again, where, you know, the family are visiting or going to stay, I should say. And you've got that weird dialogue about the Donna incident with the cannibals.
The Donner Party.
Yeah. And Danny kind of knows a little bit because he's been watching the TV and that. And then Jack just, when he says he's watched it on the television.
He learned it on the television.
I think he's fucking insane by this point. That's my own, like, I think he's always been that way, Jack. And I think as the film goes on, it becomes worse and worse, obviously. But I mean, everyone's got a different take. I think he was mad from the start, but that's
I don't think he's mad. To me, I don't. I think he's just an asshole. Like, you know.
Well, I mean? He's definitely an asshole as well. I think, you know. But yeah, you know, it's just that scene, like you say, in the lobby.
I think he probably feels trapped, like, because he has resentment towards his wife. He don't like Danny. You know what I mean? Like, and he just kind of wants to do his own thing. He wants to be free. That's what the vibe I get from it. But
there's that one awkward scene.
Don't want to be bothered
with Danny when he sits on his lap. It's so fucking awkward, man.
It is.
But when we were seeing the lobby, I was mentioning earlier, and you've got all these kind of fucking Indian designs, and you can't get away from the Indian design in this film. No. It's everywhere you look. It's probably in some places that you don't even know it's there, you know?
Even Wendy is wearing Native American garb, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. So when we do talk a little bit later on about the documentary Room 237, I do believe there's like a few things you can't deny. You know, I know we're probably going to have a debate about the Apollo, the moon landings and all that, but some of the stuff you can't deny. The Indian thing is there, you know. Indian burial ground is even mentioned in the film.
Right.
I don't know, man. It just gives it this kind of creepy fucking feeling to the whole, you know, design of the place as well.
Jamie says, I agree with Dirk. Jack was an asshole. Jack has the Shining too, but drinks to suppress it. It makes him angry, and he misdirects his anger.
So
I can see that.
I do believe Jack's got the Shining too, but I don't know whether he knows he has it.
I don't think he knows. I think he's trying to ignore it. Yeah, definitely. He's not as aware as Danny is, you know.
But I've never looked at it like that. But maybe, yeah, being an alcoholic and that is kind of his way to deal with it. Yeah. That
Plus,
kind
in
of
the
makes
novel,
sense.
if you go back to the novel and you know the backstory of Jack, he was abused by his father. And so anyway.
Okay. So was he sexually abused or just physically abused in the book?
Do what?
Was
No,
Jack
no.
Oh,
they
right,
don't mention. Yeah, I don't want to mention that. He's just he abuses the whole family. Like,
right,
beats the shit out of his wife and his kids and everything. But JB says, why add the Donner Party reference, Kubrick, man?
I think obviously, yeah, the cannibal.
The cannibal angle, because Danny says so they ate each other up, and this family is gonna eat each other up, like at the hotel at the Overlook, like from like the same situation. They're snowed in like the Donner Party. I guess you would say Jack's really gonna try to eat the family up. They're going mad, but.
And like you say with Danny as well, his delivery of the lines, because when he says that line, so they ate each other up, and then he says another line, I'm not supposed to, and the way he just delivers these lines,
I'm not supposed to,
which don't sound like a proper line, does it really? But I don't know, it's just the way he does it. He's just a
Stacey in
genius
here,
little
from
actor.
Acres of Movies.
Hey, what's up, Stacey?
What's going on? And then Mayor says that makes sense. In Dr. Sleep, Danny has become an alcoholic. Yeah.
Okay.
He's tired. Because Danny's constantly seeing stuff in Dr. Sleep. He's tired of seeing shit all the time. So
Danny Lloyd, then he does a cameo in Dr. Sleep. Is he in there for long, Dirk? Is it?
It's been a while. I haven't seen it since it came out. Yeah.
Okay. So. I'd like to see what he looks like now, actually, to be honest.
Right.
Oh,
we're doing pretty good, Stacey. How you doing, Dirk and Darren? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, thanks for popping in. I know we're competing with some kind of award ceremony tonight.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's a load of bullshit, I think.
Okay. So, yeah, and like, how? What room? What scene we at?
So I'm up now. We're up to like Danny in the games room.
Okay. Yeah. The Monarch poster.
Yeah.
Fucking mind control. So there's a whole theory that this is an experiment being done on the family. Fucking Monarch. Monarch mind control. Fucking.
Right, because you've got the poster as well, which in room 237 they mentioned the Minotaur. And the
Minotaur. It looks like a Minotaur.
It does, but I'm not convinced with that theory. And I think they mentioned later on as well, Jack looks like in the one scene.
Have you ever heard of the Monarch butterfly? It's a CIA conspiracy theory project paperclip. Mind control. No. Yeah, mind control shit. They say Charles Manson was a part of that experiment and shit.
Oh shit, that's
they gave people LSD and fucking. I don't know. There's a whole wild theory on this shit, but anyway, it's there. Yeah. The Monarch poster is definitely there on the wall. So,
but this is like an interesting scene as well because you kind of see. So you've got the maze as well. We've got to mention the maze is a massive part of this film. But in that games room, just before they go on to see the maze, he sees these two twin girls.
Oh yeah,
just fucking. I presume they're twins. Although it's not mentioned they're twins, they say there's 2 years between them. I think.
Yeah, and if you look at them, if you look really close, if you've seen this movie as many times as me, one's slightly taller than the other.
Right. Yeah.
One's 8 and one's 10, but they look alike. I think they're twins in real life, for sure.
Yeah. That's why I was a bit confused because they do mention. Yeah,
one is taller than the other a little bit, and it looks like they're wearing fucking Alice in Wonderland dresses. To me,
it does. Yeah. Just creepy image. As everyone knows that image, even if you've not seen the film, you know that image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they will just keep popping up throughout the film, and then we see the aftermath as well, and all
Right.
that. But Ullman then shows them the hedge maze, and he tells them a story about the construction workers. They had, like Dirk said, they had to fight off the Indians while building. But he does mention that the snowcat is the only way out. It's the only kind of transport they'll get once winter hits in. Because they have like a massive snowstorm at one point, don't they? That kind of just cuts them off from everyone. And you've got Dick Halloran comes in for the first time, which is a great character, Scatman Crothers. He's introduced to the family, when they're looking around the hotel.
Yeah,
he's showing a creepy fucking character, Dirk, isn't he?
It kind of is. He's showing them around because Ullman's telling him to show Wendy around and like where they're going to be. But if you notice the scene where he opens the storage room, the pantry, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you listen, like I can't help, but I can't remember where I heard this from. I didn't come up with this on my own. I heard it from somebody, definitely. But he says, and this is the story room. I swear to God, he says, this is the story room. Now, every time I watch it,
okay,
it's just embedded in my brain that way. Like,
well, he was well known for not knowing his lines as well, so maybe that creeped into the film.
Yeah, but Kubrick wouldn't have let that slip. You know better than that.
Yeah, maybe.
He wouldn't have let that slip.
But that makes sense. But if he says story that makes sense to actual what's going to happen as well.
Yeah,
in the film. So it is a big part of the story to come. Right. That room. So
this is the story.
Oh yeah, Kubrick fucking
fuck your head up, right?
Oh yeah. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, man.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes, I was watching earlier and need subtitles for both. I don't know.
Okay, I can't remember what that was about now.
The mayor says his cameo is really quick. He's in the stands at a baseball game. Talking about Danny Lloyd growing up.
Okay, so Mayor, does he look? Can you tell it's him, like Danny Lloyd?
I've seen pictures of him at conventions. I've never met him. Hopefully, I get to meet him one day. But
I should have Googled him actually, just because he's so iconic with the haircut and everything as well, with the tricycle, which we're mentioning a bit as well. Just such an iconic looking image. But Halloran, he's kind of creepy, but he's got this thing going on where he tells Wendy, and he just starts calling Danny Doc, and she's like, "How the hell do you know? We've never mentioned it." Go on, sorry, go on.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're good. You're good.
He that's when he telepathically he can sense the shine on Danny, and I think Danny senses it on him too. But he talks to Danny through the mind. He says, "How about some ice cream, Doc?" And so there's a crazy I wish I knew the channel, but there's a channel. It talks about I scream. How about some I scream, Doc? And that's a great study on The Shining, man. That dude, he kills it in that damn shit. But that stuck with me too. Like, how'd you like some ice cream, Doc? Like, holy shit, man.
And this is where the infamous 80 takes comes into that scene, in it, with him and Danny.
Yeah.
They talk together. I think he takes him off, doesn't he, to get him ice cream, and then man.
And that's where Halloran explains to Danny that even places have like something horrible, bad things happen. And some places the residue's kind of left there, like, and it still remains. So what the hell? And then I know room 237 comes up, right?
Yeah.
And he's telling Danny not to worry about that. Don't go in there for nothing. And it's kind of like, you're telling a kid not to do something. I mean, guess what? That shit's going to happen, right?
I mean, he has no option later on in the film as well when he's
drawn to it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's drawn to it. But if you notice, Jack and Halloran, they both which Jack don't know at first, but they both don't want to even acknowledge room 237.
No,
You
he
notice
tells
that?
him to stay away. Yeah, he can Halloran tells Danny completely just stay away from that room. You've no reason to go in there. You don't want to know what's been going on in there. But like you say, kids are kids and that. He tells him about Tony as well, doesn't he? Danny tells him about Tony, his imaginary friend, and Halloran. I don't know why. And I know he's a good guy, and I know he pretty much was a good guy in the book as well. There's a completely different ending.
Yeah.
Where he saves the day, I think, doesn't he, Dirk, in the book?
Yeah.
I know we're jumping on a little bit.
Yeah, he does,
but
kind of. He definitely does as far as bringing the snowcat and stuff. But
he's
yeah,
always seemed a weird character to me because later on in the film, we're shown in his apartment. He's got these really weird, like naked, like the woman, like with a big afro, like naked on his fucking
you see
on top of his bed.
one on each side of him, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said, I mean, I don't have my own theory on it, but I've heard other people mention that they think it references the hag and the beautiful woman in the bathroom.
Okay,
like
I've never seen it like that.
Foreshadowing that. I don't see it, but whatever.
I don't see that at all, to be honest.
Yeah,
because this is like a beautiful, like woman, like on.
But Halloran in the novel had an afro.
Okay.
In the novel, he had an afro. So in the pictures, the women have afros, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It just seems a strange thing to me.
And he's got 4 lamps in that little bitty room too. Like, who the hell needs 4 lamps in a little room like that? But
and like the thing with like he's got The Shining. Yeah, a little thing that don't really add up for me as well, where he's phoning the hotel later to kind of warn. Wouldn't he know what was going on? Wouldn't he see? Because he mentions The Shining is not just about the past. He says you can look into the future.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he's as powerful as Danny.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think his shining is as strong as Danny's is.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because he mentions that to Danny's, like, in the novel anyway. I keep getting mixed up. I might shouldn't have done that, but anyway.
No, that makes sense, man.
Yeah.
But the next scene I've got down is because we skip a month later, and you just get these as the film goes on, these headings just get shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
But the great shot that Dirk's got in the background here of Danny in the car, tricycle, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Fuck me now. When I first saw that, you put that on in your head. If you watch this film late at night in your headphones or surround sound or whatever, that is so creepy. And that was all just by accident, I presume. They once they filmed that scene, they played it back and they were like, "Fuck me, this is just incredible."
Yeah, the big wheel moving from the wood floors to the carpet to the tile and all that shit.
It's disorientating. It's just but captivating at the same time.
And that's done with the Steadicam. So the Steadicam hadn't been used a whole lot. And Garrett Brown, I believe.
It is Garrett Brown,
the guy that invented the Steadicam. I think the Steadicam was first used in Rocky, but it was used extensively in this film. So
right, funny enough you say that because that guy Garrett Brown had to go and make Rocky 2 at the same time this film was being made. So he would do is he would fly to Rocky 2 set for a week, then he'd come back to Kubrick set and Shining and do it like that. But they use some kind of wheelchair as well for the Steadicam for some of the shots.
Kubrick is there too on that. You've seen scenes, right? You've seen the behind the scenes with him sitting on it.
Yeah. Which is innovative for the time, The
way he explained it was like he had that camera like 2 inches from the floor, I think. Like getting these shots right here. Where
that's
Danny's
right, yeah.
But
man, it's just
you cut out.
I think there's 3 scenes of him in the bike. Oh,
I
sorry,
gotta.
it's okay.
I gotta take a quick break just for a second? You want me to just play the intro right quick? I hope we don't lose audience, but I just
I
gotta.
can go for the. I can talk to the chat if you want.
Okay, cool.
I won't. Yeah. Okay, Mace. I sent you a clip of Danny's cameo on your messenger. Dan, I will definitely look at that straight after we finish tonight. Thanks for that. Kubrick was all about the details. 100%. Nothing's done. You know, everything's done for a reason. And you could drive yourself, like as me and Dirk probably have, like crazy thinking about different things with this film. Scotland Crothers. But yeah, just let us know in the chat, like if you've got any other theories to this, if you agree with Dirk, if you agree with me. But no one's right, no one's wrong, I don't think. I think everyone brings or walks away with something pretty much like The Exorcist. I know it's cliche, but you bring to that, you know, and you take from that what you bring to it. This one is kind of more just ambiguous from that opening shot to right to the end. You just don't know what's going on. You think you've got it figured, and then I'm sure Dirk's going to come out with something later on that I was like, shit, you know, maybe that's, you know, that could be the explanation. But yeah, we'll come into that.
Right. Okay. Did you already go through the chat?
Yeah, it's only a couple.
Okay.
Only a couple. Okay. I didn't see the last one, I don't think. I didn't read the last one.
Okay.
That's
funny that you say it's disorienting, Darren. I've been getting a little dizzy from seeing Danny riding his big wheel on a loop in the live stream background. Yeah. I felt like it was appropriate though, man. Like
I think it works. I think it works.
Going through the maze of this shit. Like I said, man, this like in a year's time, I could find more shit. Like it's never gonna end. It's never gonna end.
This is one I find I always want to go back to as well. No, I won't even leave it a year. I'll want to go back like after 3 months now. I'll probably want to watch it again. And that continues. And I've never like some of the big films like A Nightmare on Elm Street and shit like that. I call it shit now, but I never want to go back to them. But this is like continuously all the time, man. Just want to
definitely. Where were we at? You remember?
So yeah, a month later, so we mentioned the tracking shot now of Danny, but Jack tells Wendy when he had his interview that he felt like he'd been there before, like some kind of deja vu. Yeah, kind of gives you.
She's all nice and shit, and she's bringing him breakfast in bed, and he's all like, and then she's like, and after you finish your breakfast, you can take me for a walk. And he's like, no, I got writing to do, you know. And then he don't fucking do
eggs
shit.
And bacon.
Yeah, then he don't do no writing. He's slamming a fucking ball against Native American motifs and shit, right?
Right, and then you've got the fucking white typewriter, which is a German typewriter.
Yep.
Which becomes black.
It turns black later, yeah.
Which is definitely, I think, it's got to be to do with the Holocaust. It has to be to have that make of German typewriter, all the details he puts into his films. That's for me. That I think that's undeniable. I think the Holocaust, the Indian angle, there's
the Native American definitely is there.
Them two, I think, 100%. I think the moon landings is hard to fucking argue.
Yeah.
There could be, but yeah, you got Wendy and Danny. Then they go into the maze.
Yeah, and like I said,
music.
Jack's so self-absorbed though in himself. He's just slamming this tennis ball against the wall of these Native American motifs. That's definitely some kind of symbolism, right? Like,
oh yeah.
And then, like you said, they go into the maze. And then he overlooks the maze, which is a crazy shot.
It's one of the best shots you'll ever see.
There's no like explain it. Like I know how it's done now, but like to see that done in what 1979 is probably when that was filmed.
Yeah.
It's basically a crane shot with Kubrick. Kubrick himself shot that, and then they superimposed that over that model to make it line up perfectly.
Yeah.
That's how it was done.
I
But
think they got 2 extras as well, because actually it's not Danny and it's not Wendy. They got like 2 extras to fill that scene. You can obviously you can't tell anyway.
Yeah, it looks like they look like ants, you know.
Yeah. It's such a like great shot to have that kind of vision to do that is amazing.
But yeah, in the world of CGI, which we are now, like it still holds up. Big time.
Yeah, and considering that maze was not a real maze as well, they kind of made it like, didn't they stick leaves onto some kind of plywood and they made it up like that?
Chicken wire, and plywood and I think you're right. Plywood and chicken wire, and then flooded them out with leaves. But
they constructed the maze, but people would still get lost in it, you know.
And the walls are supposed to be 13 foot high, but I think they're only 8 foot high. And it's the lenses they were using. This is what Garrett Brown said. The lenses they're using made it look like it, because if you look at Danny and Wendy when they're walking, it looks super high, you know.
Yeah. It's probably the camera angle as well.
The type of lenses they're using.
Yeah. But then you come on to Tuesday then. So you get the big weather forecast on the TV, predicts this snowstorm for tomorrow. And then we get the first shot of Danny when he rides by room 237.
Yep.
But then he stops. He tries to go in, but it's locked. And this is the first time that he comes across that room, and fucking tension in that scene is incredible.
He sees those twins again.
He does, yeah.
Then he's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. Yeah.
You know, you think he just completely fucking stay away for the rest of the film, but
yeah,
man, he's drawn to that room, like you said. There's something just drawing him to that room all the way throughout this film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the payoff to that is fucking superb as well. But I mentioned, the typewriter in the next scene is black. And you've got the Wendy disrupting him, which I don't know about you, I kind of find quite funny, the way Jack, I know he's like pretty blunt with her, and he's like, just don't fucking
come in. He's a total fucking asshole. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, they said, she's like, Jack's typing, and then she comes in, she's like, weather says it's going to snow tonight. And he's like, what do you want me to do about it?
Just completely deadpan. Yeah.
Then he's like, why don't you start right now and get the fuck out of here?
Yeah.
Fucking shit. And you're like, oh damn. You know, every time I see that scene, it's still feel bad for Wendy. Like, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, to me, I know we touched upon it earlier. It wouldn't work for me if she was like blonde and beautiful.
No,
just like her naivety throughout the whole film is why this film works.
Well, Stanley Kubrick said the reason he chose, and this might sound like an insult to Shelley Duvall, but he said that she couldn't be an attractive woman. Which, you know,
yeah, I know, huh? Yeah,
he said she couldn't be an attractive woman because any woman that was with Jack would have to be somebody that's so passive and so like his masculinity supersedes her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is why he's do you think this is why he's resentful of her as well? Because
and that's a big reason King said that he don't like Kubrick's version, because his Wendy is resourceful and resilient, and she kind of takes, you know, she's not like this Wendy, and she's also beautiful.
Yeah, Rebecca De Mornay. Yeah. Rebecca De Mornay plays her in which we won't really mention the shitty miniseries.
Right.
But yeah, he's kind of, by this time, you know, you can argue whether he's fucking insane now. He's certainly showing signs of mental fucking, do you know what I mean?
If you notice too, though, like that scene we were talking about, like, and he's looking out the window and he's wearing that sweater and it kind of zooms in on him and he's just like
Yeah.
looking all crazy and shit.
Yeah.
If you look at his eyes, like right toward the end of that scene, his eyes look up at something. Have you noticed that?
No.
He's fucking looking right up at something, like something just took him over, kind of deal.
It's like an infamous scene as well. That's the scene what I mentioned earlier, where some people say he looks like a minotaur as well.
And that's what you call. It's in several Kubrick films. The Kubrick stare.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna. Go on.
You see that like in Full Metal Jacket as well, with Private Pile. He has that same fucking stare in the bathroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Yeah. There's in other films too. Clockwork Orange with Alex DeLarge. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm gonna put this out there now, right? So do you feel at this point that there could be some kind of possession going on? I just want to get your view on that. I know you particularly don't feel that, but
you know, it sounds weird probably to a lot of people, but to me, The Shining's not one thing. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you're not ruling out that he could be possessed at some point?
No, I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling it out because, you know, Kubrick's been pretty vague on, he said that it's a supernatural film and everything that is true. He said everything's happening is true in the story. Right?
Okay, yeah.
But, you know, that's Kubrick. He's not going to tell you shit. So, So, like, what I'm saying is there's no one definitive path in this film. I think there's multiple angles to dissect the shit out of this movie. So,
yeah, when we come to the end, I'll be just as confused about what I think's going on.
The more answers you find, the more questions you're gonna have.
Yeah, because I thought I had it nailed down with the reincarnation stuff, but then you think the possession stuff, and then the three of them could be getting possessed in a way. Like everyone in that hotel could be becoming possessed because she starts seeing visions as well towards the end. There's tons going on, you know, at this point as well.
Right.
But so that scene where you say that you see Jack's face and you've got Wendy and Danny and they're playing around in the snow and they outside. Then we jump to Saturday where you've got Wendy in Ullman's office with the radio. All the phone lines are down.
Sorry, she's wearing the Native American stuff.
I mean, you can't deny any of that shit, can you? Really, the Native American stuff.
She's wearing,
not even if you tried.
Right.
Yeah. But the scene where she's on the radio and she's talking to that guy, there's just this really sweet, like, lovely woman about her, you know, naivety about her. And you feel, I don't know about you, but you just feel sorry that she's in this fucking abusive relationship with Jack. And she's probably stayed with him, you would imagine, over the years, just for the sake of the child. I would imagine that's what a lot of mothers do, you know, when they're in those kind of relationships.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking to see her character, you know, putting up with so much shit and abuse throughout the film. But yeah, she's just got this lovely, sweet kind of side to her with the, you know, she's talking on the radio and all that. Meanwhile, Danny sees those girls again.
That's when the Forest Ranger tells her to leave the radio on because all the phone lines are down now. And
that's right, yeah. Which is, there's a scene that's going to come up about that office, you know, what happens in that office later on. But Danny sees the girls then, and they say to him, come and play with us.
Yeah.
Which forebodes the next scene as well with Jack, if you notice. Because don't they say we can play forever and ever and ever?
Yeah.
Which Jack fucking says spookily enough, like in pretty much the next scene. But he sees the aftermath for the first time of the girl's fucking murder.
Yep.
He sees them fucking,
And that's when you see that iconic
Oh.
shot of Danny's all like, he's like,
he puts his
looking-
finger over his eyes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
yeah. But then after that scene though, then he's watching television with his mother, and they're watching a movie called The Summer of 42, which is about a married woman who her husband has gone off to war in World War II, and she ends up sleeping with a 15-year-old boy.
Oh shit!
In that film, right? But if you pay attention, I don't know if you ever noticed this, but on the TV, that TV is not fucking plugged in.
There's no electrical cord. That's the first thing I noticed. Yeah, yeah, and obviously he's done that for a reason. I don't know what reason, but it's there. It's
right. And then Danny's
it's weird.
like,
it's weird.
They're watching the movie, and then Danny's like, he wants to go get his fire engine, right?
Yeah. Oh, this is a creepy fucking scene as well, man. Yeah.
Definitely creepy.
He tells his mother, and she says, "Well, Jack's asleep, but if you do go in there, tiptoe." And he goes, "I'll tiptoe. I'll be okay. I won't make a noise."
Yeah, be real quiet. Promise you be quiet and all that shit, right? And then, he goes in there, and Jack's sitting on the bed, just, he's.
But you see the mirror. You see Jack in the mirror, which there's a lot of mirror scenes in this as well.
Definitely a lot of reflections. Yeah.
Reflecting.
A lot of
past,
dual,
the future, maybe. Yeah.
A lot of dual characters. There's two Jacks. There's two the twins, right? The Grady's, the Delbert and Charles Grady, Lloyd and Grady.
The mirrors in the bathrooms.
The old hag and the beautiful woman.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, and this scene. This is where I think the sexual abuse angle could well be a factor. I see what people say. I mean, I understand it. It's so uncomfortable the way he calls him over and he sits him on his lap, and you can tell Danny is fucking petrified of him, completely petrified of him.
Well, his dad's abusive. Definitely, we know that.
Yeah. And he says a really weird line. He says, "Do you feel bad?" He says to Jack. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know.
Like,
obviously, what that line's about. It could be. You could pronounce that in different ways, really.
Yeah. Like he's saying. Also, he's saying, "You wouldn't hurt me and Mama, would you?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Did your mother tell you to say that?" And all that. And then it's got this fucking crazy jump scare with a fucking title card.
It does, yeah.
At the end of that scene,
Yeah, from nowhere, like.
Yeah, I can't think of another film that does that shit with a title card. Like fucking.
Jack says, that he loves it there at the hotel. And literally he goes, "I want to stay here forever and ever and ever." And then it fucking hits you what those girls were saying in the previous scene. Yeah. I think that's Kubrick at his best, the way he forebodes that and brings it in. And he does it so close on as well that it's a reference to that. Fuck me, man. The hairs went up on the back of my neck when I first saw that scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, he asked him whether, would he hurt him and his mother. Do you think Danny at this point has seen the future then, do you believe? I know it's not shown in the film, but I
think he knows.
He knows the way it's going to play out with Jack?
I definitely know. I definitely believe he does know. Yeah, for sure. And he keeps.
Or do you think he's putting two and two together with the? Go on, sorry. Go on.
No, you're. There was a
I'm
lag.
Lagging, I think.
There was a lag.
Yeah.
For a second. But no, he's just putting it all together. Tony's slowly giving it to him, right?
Giving it like you say, like a puzzle, innit? He's putting all the parts together.
But I think Tony is him.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's another entity. I think it's Danny. you know.
I think he's seen what's going on with the sisters, the two girls,
Yeah.
and I think he's put two and two together that Jack's gonna fucking just. That's what I think, that he knows what's gonna happen. He because Scatman Crothers' character tells him you can see into the future as well. So I'm thinking he's just put two and two together, and this is not gonna fucking end well with his dad. Yeah, that's the way I see it. But there's so many ways, like you say.
The mayor says, I would love to see either Arrow or Second Sight do an edition of The Shining. I can only imagine what special features would be included. And that would sell out, I feel like, for sure.
That'd be a day one salad.
It would be a day one, for sure. Hell yeah. Hold on, let me go through these last. I got a few comments.
Yeah.
JB says, I've always found her to be rather attractive, in my opinion. Taste. Okay. Yeah. I mean, she's not an ugly woman, but she's not Rebecca De Mornay either, like from Risky Business, you know.
I mean, Shelley Duvall, when she done an interview after the film, and again, I'm not one to judge on looks, man. Look at me. But she really, after, I think they interviewed her right after the film.
I don't think she's ugly, no.
No, she's not. She was a smart woman in the day.
But she's not like this immaculate, gorgeous woman. I think that was the point, like, that Kubrick was saying anyway, you know.
Yeah.
And then JB says that one time Jack used a little bit too much force and dislocated his shoulder. Yep.
How does he say that? A momentarily loss of, what was it? What's the saying? Yeah, it's a great line. Anyway.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't write that down, but yeah.
But you've got the infamous, like, Wednesday comes ahead now, and you've got the scene with the pattern in the carpet with the ball that we mentioned.
Yeah, man,
that's again so fucking creepy.
So Danny goes into room 237's open now.
Yeah.
He goes in there finally, and man, we don't know what Danny saw. We don't know. All we know is from what he tells his mother. Like, I guess that's what he told her.
But he comes back with this big mark, doesn't he?
He's got these marks on his neck. Jack's screaming and crying. Wendy runs to Jack. And there's something else, a little Easter egg that a lot of people probably don't know. If you watch Jack, he will directly look into the camera, like fragments of a second throughout the film.
Okay, I've never noticed that.
In that scene where he's screaming, where Wendy runs in there by the typewriter,
yeah,
you'll see him he's all freaking out, looking around. He's like, I had this dream that I cut you into little bitty pieces, you and Danny, right? Right. He looks like just for a fraction of a second, looks dead into the camera, just like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's fucking.
Kubrick creepy. Obviously told him that as well.
It's creepy.
Kubrick wouldn't. Kubrick wouldn't have kept
throughout
that in.
Throughout the film, you see it. Once you know that shit, you can't unsee that shit. So but anyway.
Oh no, yeah, because she jumps to the conclusion that it's Jack who's like hitting him.
She's accusing Jack of doing it, and he looks fucking confused. He's just like, the fuck, you know, like he looks fucking out of his mind right then, right?
He does, yeah.
But then you see him going down this hall, and these mirrors on both sides of him. He's just fucking slamming his arms down and shit. He's going to the gold room.
Oh man, what a scene! I love it. Yeah,
he's going to get a fucking drink. But there ain't no drink here at this hotel. So, what the fuck?
Because Ullman says early on, didn't he, in the film, that we take all the drink away from the hotel in the winter.
Yeah, you had to bring your own.
Yeah, there's kind of no temptation or anything. But how do you... So this gold room scene now, you know, like you say, he goes up to he sees Lloyd at the bar. How do you... What's going on here? That's what I'm trying to say, you know. How do you kind of... explain this one?
Well, he says I would give anything for. He said I give my damn soul for just a glass of beer, and then Lloyd shows up.
So is he seeing all this in his mind? Is he just imagining in all this?
I don't know. That's
what I mean.
The $1 million question.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So but I mean, as soon as he says he would give his soul for just one glass of beer. Lloyd shows up, and then
Yeah.
Then all the shit hits the fan. As soon as he gets the bourbon, as soon as he takes that drink, look at his demeanor. His eyes fucking completely change.
Completely changed.
And that's why I said, like, that's why this film resonated with me when I was coming off the drink in 2015.
I completely, I understand where you're coming from, because the barman as well, Lloyd, he kind of puts things into Jack's mind as well, because they mention the fact that women, you can't live with them, you can't live without them. Is he putting a seed of fucking something in Jack's mind? Do you know what I mean? To fucking force him to go over the top. That's the way I
said, I don't want to go too much with the novel, but the novel, that's what's happening, like, constantly. You know,
you're good mentioning the novel, man, because I've not read it, so I'm interested. Like,
right, but I'm saying you can kind of see the influence. He's being influenced by the ghosts. You know, on the surface level, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But this is way more than just a ghost story. You know what I mean? Like, at least Kubrick's version. So
he ends up telling Lloyd as well the fact that he hit Danny when he was like 3 years ago as well. That's when he comes out with that good, that good saying. She comes running in then, doesn't she? Wendy. And she says one of the fucking, like, there's a crazy woman in, fucking in, what's the actual? She says a crazy woman in one of the rooms. So pretty much Danny's come across this woman, we don't know what's going on.
And then that's when Jack's like,
"Are you out of your fucking mind?"
That's another great line. Yeah. Because she said
I fucking crack up. Like, I crack up every time I see that, because, he looks drunk off his ass. When
you can tell the sleepless nights and everything.
He's just like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, So then he's like, which room is it? And then he fucking goes to room 237. Jack does.
She tells him as well, is a woman in the bathtub.
Right.
Which is fucking,
I will say that I think, I know Kubrick had seen Diabolique, no doubt about it, because he watched all foreign films, and he was big cinephile when he was younger, so there's no doubt about it that he's seen Diabolique. You know what I mean? And King must have seen it too, I'm thinking, because that scene kind of reminds me of Diabolique. If anybody hadn't seen that, highly recommend that one.
But Kubrick has a lot of bathroom kind of scenes in his films. In almost every film, I believe I was reading.
It's a very personal place. The backstory in the novel, the woman's name was Lorraine Massey. And from what I understand, she was always in her bathtub, in her room. She was on barbiturates. She was like a big whore. She just kind of screw anybody in the novel. I believe I'm right on that. And then she ended up killing herself in that room.
She died of an overdose in the bath then, I take it.
With barbiturates, So,
man, such a great scene.
So Jack goes in there. He sees this beautiful, fucking weird looking, beautiful woman, but she's very strange, right? And it's a creep. I'll never forget this scene. This is the first scene I ever saw of The Shining when I was a kid. That fucking scene fucking terrified me, man. Seeing that shit. It was blurred out on the TV, But yeah, he goes in there and he thinks he's getting it on with this beautiful woman, and so nasty hag fucking cackling at him and shit. Like,
just that image of her running towards him, cackling, and but you notice Jack fucking doesn't mention nothing about what went on in that scene. Yeah, because Wendy asks him later on, he says, "No, nothing was there. Nothing."
He completely denies it, just like Halloran, though.
Yeah.
So Halloran denies the room too. He knows it's not good, but not to go in there, right?
But like,
I got an idea on that, but I want to go through the film
Okay.
I can say now, I guess. I think it's. I think what it is this might be kind of out there for a lot of people, but so Jack is ignoring like the horrors of the world, right? I know this is metaphorically speaking. He's ignoring the horrors of the world. Danny sees them for what they are, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And also Jack's ignoring his family completely.
Mm.
Where Danny's, if you notice, Danny's preparing throughout the whole film. He's preparing. He finally faces his fear when he goes into that room.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and he
I can see
needs
that.
to see that, just like we need to see bad things that happen in history. Maybe I'm way out of line, whatever. A lot of people might think that, but I think we need to see things that happen that were bad in the past, so we don't repeat the past. Kind of
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense because just momentarily before that scene as well with Jack with the woman, we see Danny, but we don't see what he sees, and he starts frothing at the mouth. I think Halloran sees him. Yeah, sees him in his vision.
Right.
But Danny's obviously seen something in that fucking room as well earlier that he just, but we don't know. It's never touched upon, you know. Obviously, we presume it's the woman. It must have been the woman. Because I know you didn't know, you weren't sure on that, was you, at one point?
No, I'm not. I'm still not
in the room.
I'm still not. But I think whatever it is, it's horror. It's terrible, and it's horrifying. And Jack wants to ignore it, where Danny is preparing.
Okay, yeah. No,
and the reason I say that is because when we get toward the end of the film, what Danny does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's one scene as well I want to mention, like towards the end. But Halloran, he like senses something's up. He tries to ring the hotel, but obviously all the lines are down. The big storm's been going on, but he phones that guy, doesn't he? I think it's one of his mates, is it? At first I think he phones, like, is it the sheriff or the guy in charge of the radio to try and contact them? But he can't get hold of him.
The fire service guy.
Fire service. That's it. Yeah. So again, Jack tells Wendy he's seen nothing in the room. Jack said he thinks Danny did all the bruises to himself.
Did it to himself, yeah.
Which I think he explains in such a way as where that can only be, once you think of everything that's been going on, that's the only conclusion you can come to. And he's kind of could be right. I don't know. It's never, like, again, that's never open for interpretation.
Ambiguity of the shit. Maybe Danny did do that to himself.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's possible,
like I told you, he's preparing.
Yeah.
So, like I said, in a year from now, I might look at the film completely different. But this go around, like, I don't think it's one thing. Like I said, I can't stress that enough. There's not just.
I think it could be the woman. I think it could be the old woman that's done that to him. But we're speculating at this point. You know, we don't know, obviously.
But they both seen something horrifying, and Jack has a secret. We know that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you've got the whole bedroom door scene as well with Danny with the lipstick, and he writes red rum. Yeah, that's another great scene. Well known, I think everyone who's like,
right in the nick of time. This film. Yeah, right in the nick of time.
And it's just the way he draws it, doesn't he? And you can obviously almost like upside down, and you can see it in the mirror, like
backwards.
Murder.
The R's backwards, right? I believe.
Yeah.
And then he's like, red rum, to wake Wendy's ass up. She gets up, and that's an iconic zoom fucking shot on Wendy. And then she's looking in the fucking mirror, like fucking iconic.
Yeah. And again, mirrors come into it. But it's kind of, when he's screaming red rum, gets more fucking intense from now on in. In every scene.
So Danny's completely clear, I think, by this point. He knows that Jack's gonna kill them.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've no doubts.
No doubt about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubts at all. Wendy wants to take Danny then at this point and leave. Obviously, she tells Jack he's not happy. But this is where you've got the great go room scene again, where Jack hears the music, he sees all the.
Yeah.
Have I skipped anything?
Yeah. Because I thought like we skipped some shit up big time. Because because that red rum scene's the scene with Jack coming through the door. But
yeah.
So
and you see, funny enough, you say that actually, just seeing there, but you see that's the first time you see the blood with the lifts as well. You've got all the gushing blood coming from each side of the lifts. For me, I think that's. I don't think you can argue the fact that that's got to be to do with the Holocaust, but again, I'm speculating.
I mean, it could be all kind of things. It could be
It could be
the blood of all fucking tragedies in the history of humanity. Who knows? Who knows what it is? You know what I mean?
I just think it's the Holocaust. I really do. I think that's another play into the film.
Right.
So many layers. Do you know what I mean?
Let me catch the chat right quick.
Yeah.
Let's see. The mayor says, "Isn't Danny's middle name Anthony? Because I believe that Tony is a shortened version of Anthony."
That's my second. My second name is Anthony.
Okay.
But I've never been. Funny enough, I've never been called Tony. But they did. That's what the kids do in school. They used to call.
I'm not sure on that. I can't remember on Danny's middle name.
Yeah.
Texas says she was just kind of homely looking like Sissy Spacek. Talking about Duvall.
She does got that kind of strange. Yeah, both of them have got this strange look about them. Yeah.
Right. The mayor says, if you think about it, spirits are another name for alcoholic beverages. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Good point.
Spirits. Yep.
Good point, man.
I definitely have tangled with the demons myself.
I've been known to tangle with a drink or two in the past as well.
JB says every little thing was open to interpretation. Definitely. No doubt about that.
It is. And if you put all these things together, you come up with fucking, you
you drive yourself mad like me. Like I've been fucking obsessed.
In a good way, though. In a good way, I'd say, because it always draws you back. It always draws you back in.
Right. We got Chris C in here. Says, evening, everyone. On my work break, hit that like for the gents. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, Chris.
Yeah. JVC 237. Yeah. And in the book, it's the room's 217.
Yeah, because the occupiers of the original hotel didn't want that room displayed for obvious reasons, because
there's so much superstitious shit with hotels and buildings. Like there's not a 13th floor, you know what I mean? Like room 13, I don't think exists.
I think they fucked up there, mine, because if you're thinking about it, they should have put it as room 217, and that hotel would have been fucking iconic. There would have been people wanting to stay in that room. I think they thought it was going to have the opposite effect, where it was going to hurt their hotel. But no, man, it would have had people would have been going to that room for fucking even now,
Yeah, I think 237 though is probably just as iconic.
So how do you feel about all the numerals in this film? Like everything's done in blocks of 7. You notice everything adds up to 7. 42 mentioned a lot in it.
42's in this a lot. Yeah, Summer of 42, that movie I told you about.
Yeah.
Chris says, let's see, everybody's saying, hey. Chris says, Clockwork Orange, 9 out of 10, one of the first hard sci-fi novels and maybe the first video nasty.
It's bordering on a 10, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty high for me. It's a 10 for me, for sure.
Yeah.
The Shining is great. A descent into madness. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Let's see. Everybody's saying, hey, my mother visited the Stanley Hotel in 23 or 24. Awesome.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, what's up, man?
You know what kind of man Jack is at the start of the film, in my opinion. Yeah.
He
definitely.
just descends into fucking madness, I think, even from that first scene.
My mother brought me a red rum hat and the room door chocolate bar. Awesome. Hell yeah, man. That's killer.
Oh,
Take care, all. Have a good night. You too, man. Hope you have
yeah,
a
have a good one.
good
Have a
evening,
good one,
man.
Chris. I'll speak to you in a week because I know we got like a stream coming up.
Right.
But that 42 as well, if you notice, the fucking Holocaust happened in 1942.
Right.
So,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's you can't like unsee that.
Yeah.
Just seeing now where we're up to, but
We was at the bar scene, right? Where
oh
after
yeah,
that,
yeah, the gold room scene in it, yeah.
Well, no, he's already came back, and she's screaming about the. We already talked about that, right? We're at the party. Right?
Yeah,
Go over.
yeah.
And then
So-
that's when Delbert Grady spills fucking drinks on Jack. It looks like he does it on purpose, don't it?
It does. You can every time you see that, you can tell that
He did do it on purpose.
He did, yeah.
So he could get Jack alone.
Yeah, for
To
everything.
talk to him in the men's room.
It's like
Again.
avocado or something. Yeah, the men's room.
Apricot. Apricot, some shit on his jacket or whatever.
So we mentioned this before we started. Like, so the song that plays, right, is Midnight, The Stars, and You, right? Play in the gold room.
Yeah.
So I've got it written down here that was actually recorded in 1934. I know Dirk's not sure. This scene actually plays out from 1921. So it's, you know, I know that's minor little quibble, like, you know.
I don't think even if it was, I don't think it matters because
it does. It's really minor. I don't think it matters.
No, I mean, I don't think it matters for the fact that in my opinion, I think that the Overlook Hotel time doesn't exist. I think all
I was going to say, yeah.
I think
that's a good point.
I think all times in the history of the world are in the Overlook
It's
Hotel.
like a jumbled fucking mess. That could have been 34 just added in anyway. So yeah, I know what you're saying. Saying. They had over 200 extras in that scene, and they all had to dress up, you know, in like the olden days
people
with
dancing. So even people like some of the extras, Kubrick liked the way they looked, but if they were going to dance, they had to learn. So he had them properly trained to fucking dance.
yeah. Even Kubrick's daughter is in one of the scenes where she sat on like one of the chairs with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
The attention to detail in this fucking gold room is just fucking amazing, man. It's with the you got that music as well. It gives you the old feel. And
then Jack's talking like he's somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Talking to Lloyd like always, you're the best from here to Portland, Maine, Portland, Oregon, for that matter. Shit.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck is going on here, man? Like, well, anyway, with the shit with Delbert Grady, they go to the bathroom, and you remember how that goes?
So yeah, so Jack tells him that he used to be the caretaker.
Yeah. He says you were the caretaker here.
Yeah, but he actually comes out with a great line to come back, and he says, "I don't believe so," but he never fucking denies it, does he? He never denies that. Delbert doesn't deny that he's fucking chopped up his fucking daughters, which I always found was a great line.
Yeah, because then he tells him, Jack just blunt and is like, he says you you hacked up your wife and daughters and then blew your brains out. And then he's
that's right, yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't recall that.
Like, that's what he said. That's what he says. I don't recall that, and he never denies it. Which is
like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of conversation are we having here? You know, like Jack's definitely lost his fucking mind, right? So.
Oh God, yeah. It's Grady turns it round on him as well, doesn't he? He says, "No, well, I believe you're the caretaker."
Yeah, you've always been the caretaker. Yeah.
And he says, "I should know. I've always been here," which is a great line as well.
You're like, what the fuck are they talking?
He's such a nice character. This great when he spills the drinks and he's like, "Oh, let me see Let
Yeah,
me
at
see
first.
to you, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, I'll clean it up and all that. But then this character, you can see you can see why he fucking killed his fucking wife and daughter.
Yeah.
And you can't put your finger on why, but just the way it's filmed and
And
like
then
the
he's
expression on his face.
like a racist. He started talking about Halloran, where Danny
Yeah,
is
he uses the
bringing the
N-word, doesn't he?
insider. You know, he's like he's pretty racist. He calls him something Cook. You know, and
Which I'm surprised they haven't cancelled that scene, to be honest.
right.
But
And
yeah.
then Jack says it right after him, right? So it's like
right, yeah.
it's like I don't know, what I get from that is like it kind of like transferred to him, you know.
Right, because he tells Jack, doesn't he? He says, your son has got this great talent.
Yeah.
He's trying to bring someone else in. And it's just, yeah, like he's trying to spat it out to Jack. And the way I see it is him
And then
the
he
bad-
remembers what he
does,
fucking did.
Yeah.
He said they tried to burn down the fucking hotel.
With a box of matches.
Yeah.
And he
So
had
he
to corrected them, yeah, which is again
fucking
but
crazy.
the way I see it, right,
Yeah.
he's giving Jack, like he's putting the seeds of fucking into Jack's mind to do it. That's the way I see it, you know?
Yeah.
It's as if he's saying to Jack, look, I did this. You fucking go and do it now to your
You need to do
your
it.
family.
You need to give them
you
a good
need-
talking to, right?
Because your son is fucking up to something as well, you know? You need
Right.
to fucking put him straight.
Right.
But yeah, it's so clever the way it's done, the way it's
Yep.
implemented. Great, the scenes, man.
Yeah.
But you've got the whole Danny shaped red rum scene again, don't you? When he Tony talks to Wendy, I think as well. What was it? Tony talks to Wendy. Danny can't wake up Mrs. Torrance. Danny's gone away. This is a great fucking scene as well.
Danny's not there. Like, at least that personality. I think he's kind of, you know.
Oh yeah.
Tony kind of like is tougher, I guess you'd say, you know.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Then so Halloran's on his way, and we see this damn he's passing a 18-wheeler wreck, and there's a red Beetle that's destroyed, and a lot of people will say that that's Kubrick's way of saying, you know, because that the red Beetle is in the King novel, the yellow bug is in the Kubrick film, so that's Kubrick's way of shouting out to Stephen King, "This is my vehicle," and
that has to be,
I just destroyed yours. So, like,
this
has nothing.
And there's
to do
no
with
denying that. Once you see that scene and you know the color of
Right.
the cars and everything, that's for
Right.
sure. That was Kubrick saying that. Completely. But then he's vigorously trying to, like, he gets on planes and he's fucking.
Oh, he's like he's trying to make his way. Like, he's having all this hard time, this long journey to get there. Right? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But
it's do you think, because obviously when he leaves the hotel early on, Halloran,
mhm.
whether he had some kind of sense what was going to go on, and he just goes back out of guilt, feeling guilty.
It's creepy.
Stop it.
It's creepier in the book, though. So I'm gonna bring that up just a little bit.
Okay.
So Halloran, he's fixing to go back to Florida because the hotel's closing or whatever for 5 months, by the way.
Yeah.
And he asked Danny several times if Danny wants to go with him to Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and then he takes Danny away, like he's leaving the hotel to go get his plane ride. He takes Danny with him, and they sit in his car. And while Wendy in the novel, this is in the novel, Wendy's like, she's at the door, like looking through the window, looking at them, like wondering, is he gonna kidnap my son? What the hell is going on? Like, it's so weird to me in the book. Like, why is that happening? You know? But then that's when they have to.
Yeah,
that's when they have to talk about the Shining in the novel.
So Stephen King was building him up as this kind of shady character, but yet he completely saves the day at the end.
I
Yeah?
don't know if he was. It was weird to me. Like I didn't understand.
Seems like he's touching upon maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
And then he flips it completely being the hero. Do you know what I mean? Maybe, but
Right. But
yeah.
that was a little difference in the versus the film. But so then like I said, he passes the Red Beetle. Then we're on to this. This is where we're at, right? Wendy goes into where Jack's been.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And by the way, if y'all are liking what you're seeing in the past, present, or future, think about it.
How do you like it? How do you like it?
I'm very
Nice.
confused. I just need a chance to think things over.
You've had your whole fucking life to think things over. What good's a few minutes more gonna do you now?
Don't hurt me.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Stay away from me.
Wendy,
Stay away.
darling, light of my life, I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. You said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in.
That's the best. That's the best scene of the. Jack Nicholson wrote that scene. You know that?
No.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's the one scene he wrote.
Oh shit. I think that's a great line when he says, even before the infamous, I'm gonna bash your brains in.
Yeah,
Like
that whole
some of that
right,
dialogue.
that whole
is great.
segment, that whole scene is the best scene of the film, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because he says you've had your whole life. What's more than a few more minutes gonna do it? Yeah, it just sits
Right.
like with me. And he used they used a body double for that as well, didn't he? Or a stuntman when he fell down the stairs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Nicholson made sure as well he didn't want to do that scene. Because I think Scatman Crothers as well in one of his scenes later on, like really hurt his back for real.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? There was kind of
The scene where he gets axed.
Yeah, which we'll come on to in a minute. We'll come on to. Don't want to. Yeah. But
spoiler. I'm sure everybody's seen The Shining though.
Oh God, yeah.
I would imagine.
I don't even think you need to put spoilers on you, really, because.
Yeah. So Wendy's looked through the papers, and this is where she's discovered Jack's secret. Right.
Yeah.
And this is all his hard work he's been working on. And fucking all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And then if you read, like, if you look, like, if you ever like paused some of that shit.
Yeah.
Rob Ager pointed this one out. He says, all work and no play makes Jack adult boy.
Okay, so that's in the actual. That's written on the page in some of the passages.
And then there'll be things that are like misworded, like letters and shit.
Yeah.
It's real chaotic.
It's all done in. Yeah, it's chaotic, all done in different ways. But that scene where Wendy has to grab the sheets of paper, the one woman on set literally had to keep doing that and doing that and doing that throughout the whole fucking filming, because where you could only do it in one take, Wendy would grab the papers and the papers would be all creased, Mm-hmm. So in Kubrick doing, I don't know what, 30 or 40 goes, this poor woman on this typewriter was just doing that constantly, apparently. So
Kubrick typed a bunch of those out too himself.
Oh yeah, because you've seen in the making of, he's got this big fucking typewriter as well. Yeah. He's got this big fucking file facts book as well. I'd love to know what was in that he's taking notes on and shit.
I forgot to mention. Now he always had Jack in mind for this role. That's the only person he saw playing this role, and he was going to use Jack. He was going to make a Napoleon, which he didn't get to make. He was going to use Jack Nicholson for Napoleon, though. But
so was that a script that he made himself, or was it someone else's script? Napoleon, I'm on about now.
That's all the rigorous research he'd done on Napoleon.
Okay.
Kubrick. Yeah, And so Kubrick had an actual journal of Napoleon,
That would
like
have been a classic, obviously, wouldn't it?
daily life, every day. He was
Yeah.
missing some days or whatever. But the reason it wasn't made is because nobody was backing that shit. The producers were like, nobody wants to see a feather film, is what they told him. So
Didn't they say that about Barry Lyndon as well? That no one wanted to see a film like that. Yeah,
feather film, yeah,
yeah. It's still
well,
successful.
period piece for sure. But anyway, back to the Sean. So
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I'm up to now. I'm just looking.
so that scene we just saw, right after he says that, he's
Yeah.
he's telling Wendy, he's like, right after he says all that shit, he's gonna bash her brains, and then he's like, in this hypnotizing type of voice, he's all like, "Give me the bat, Wendy." Like he's gonna get, she's gonna give him the fucking bat. He just thinks he's gonna will her to give him the bat. This is like her moment of strength, I guess, in the whole fucking movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that and the part where she accuses him of hurting Danny. Her two moments of strength, I guess you'd say. But
And she goes backwards up the stairs as well.
backwards up the stairs, yeah, while he's chasing her, which is odd, but
which Danny does at the end as well in the snow. So going back in time, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's kind of that angle.
A lot of parallels for sure.
Oh god, yeah.
So then she knocks Jack out basically, down the stairs, gets him in the story room, right?
Yeah.
And then locks him in there. And this is an age-old question. A lot of people are like, how did Jack get out? Did the ghost let him out? I really don't. I think Danny let him out.
He talks to Grady as well, doesn't he? Grady talks to him while he's in the storeroom. So that could be a fact.
He's talking to Delbert Grady in the storage room, and he's like telling him, I don't think you got what it takes to do it or whatever, right? And he's like, I promise I'll make it happen. That kind of shit. And,
but would Danny have let him out though?
Yeah.
Knowing that all the shit that's going on.
Yep. Danny would let him out. I'm gonna tell you why. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to
go
it.
on.
No, we'll get to it. Let's continue on, and then it'll make sense. I don't want to ruin it. Like it's just a theory I got. But
okay, no problem. You've got that great shot when he's in the storeroom where Kubrick did. Kubrick was lying on his back, but that was completely like improvised, and you see it when they're doing the making of, but Vivian and his daughter, and he just comes up with that on the spot. Kubrick's like, well, what if I go down? Or I think Jack may have even said, but what if I go down here and film it like this? And that's that iconic shot of him in the storeroom looking up at Jack, and it's like genius. It's fucking genius, man.
It is. It's a great shot. Hold on just a second. Wild Wrangler says, my great uncle was an alcoholic. He broke into get a drink, only found liquid you keep your combs in and drank it. Oh shit. Yeah, I've known some. I wasn't that bad, but I have seen a couple people.
I know some people, they go into rehab and they drink fucking mouthwash, alcoholic mouthwash. And
I've seen people drink rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
Shit
it's
like
crazy
that.
when it grips you like that, man.
Yeah, the mayor says this is the third consecutive Kubrick film that the actor Philip Stone, who plays Delbert, first in Clockwork and a second time in Barry Lyndon. That's right. Yeah.
And he's outstanding in this role as well.
In Clockwork Orange, he's somebody completely different, man. He's a fucking very beaten on by his son kind of character. Like in Clockwork Orange. But
I'll have to go back. I can't place him in that one.
He's the dad of Alex DeLarge.
Okay.
You know how he treats his parents in that fucking movie?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's what I meant. Not literally beaten, but he's treated like shit, basically.
He's kind of an unsung hero in this, Philip Stone. I think he's like, because he's not in a lot of scenes, but the stuff he's in is like, he's fucking superb as an actor, man.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Completely nails it in this one.
He's great. But so then I guess we're getting to Jack gets let out.
So
Here's
yeah,
a quick-
he tells her, doesn't he, in the storeroom that he
Oh
sabotaged the
yeah.
snowcat and the radio.
He says you got
Uh,
a big surprise waiting on
yeah.
you, right? Like so many
Um,
great fucking lines in this fucking movie, man.
oh god, yeah.
Um, so then he's out of the damn storeroom. She checks the snowcat. And she goes upstairs, goes to fucking sleep.
yeah.
You know, and Danny's doing that shit with Tony, I guess, is doing that shit, that red rum shit. That's the part where he's writing on the door and
Yeah.
with the knife, and he's holding the knife out for her, and Jack's coming in, and he's, you know, we got that the classic scene of Jack coming through the fucking door. I think he went through 20 doors.
He did, yeah. He was. Didn't he have fire training or something when he was younger?
He was a volunteer firefighter, and
he could pretty much do that easily.
They used those little bullshit breakaway doors, but they weren't good enough. So they used actually solid core doors, and he fucking went through 20 of them with that axe.
I can believe it as well.
But,
I just like with that Delbert when Grady, sorry.
Yeah.
He again puts the seeds of doubt while he's in the storeroom to Jack, because he turns around and he tells him the only thing to do is the harshest thing. Do you know what I mean? So he's completely again putting seeds of doubt into Jack's mind and what to do. But in terms of that scene you just mentioned, what I like about that is when Danny gets through the window, doesn't he, and he slides down the snow, which apparently wasn't real. It's all kind of salt and that.
It's dairy salt.
It looks fucking so authentic.
Yeah, dairy salt. And the set was, they said the set was like 100 degrees, if you can believe that. It was like these big fucking lamps they used. And that's one thing we haven't mentioned. This is supposed to be like creepy fucking hotel, ghost kind of hotel, and everything's well fucking lit, right?
Yeah.
Like you can
Didn't
see
they have one of the sets like caught fire and got completely destroyed at one point?
Yeah.
But some of the winter scenes where the film took so long to make, some of the outside scenes and that didn't match up. So, you know, they had to put in a lot more of the like polystyrene snow, and because it was due to be, wasn't it due to be filmed in around about the same time, because it went on for so long, they had to do scenes in the summer and all that. So,
but it was like an orange light, so they actually used a blue filter in post production.
Okay, yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
It was all orange looking, and it was like 100 degrees, and that fucking hedge maze and all that shit.
I can imagine, man. I can imagine. Because Jack does when he's doing the making of, then he mentions about, do I need a coat, or do I need, do I just need a normal shirt to wear or whatever? All this time, Halloran's trying to get closer and closer to the hotel. I think while all this is going on, and obviously they're trying to escape through the bathroom window.
Yeah, he's coming through the door, and that's what I was going to, I guess I'll play it here again.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Shit.
Halloran actually inadvertently saves fucking Wendy in that scene, because Halloran gets to the hotel and then Jack's distracted and then he moves away from Wendy, doesn't he? So he goes to, do you know what I mean? So inadvertently, he kind of saves her.
Yeah, he's bringing the snowcat. But,
yeah.
So Jack turns his attention. Danny gets out and he's just kind of hiding out and shit. So Halloran's going around. He's trying to find him. And he's hollering out. And then just out of fucking nowhere, Jack comes around the corner. Bam! One shot with the axe right in the fucking, like right in the heart, I assume.
Yeah.
And then it goes in flash cuts to Danny screaming, which is, man. Holy shit.
That hurts Scatman Crothers in real life. He said he had to do that scene so many times, his back was just completely
falling down.
gone.
Yeah, he was like 60 plus right
Yeah,
there.
he was. Yeah.
So
But
Uh,
I just want to touch back on when he's
Go
in the when he's with the axe and he's got that. I don't know. Was it improvised when he says about little pig, let me in?
yeah.
Did Jack?
Well,
I think just come up with that, didn't he?
I'm not real sure because earlier in the film we didn't mention this, but Wendy mentions she's got to leave a trail of breadcrumbs, and
Yeah.
that's directly out of Hansel and Gretel. So there's a lot of nursery rhyme, children type shit going on throughout the film. You know.
Right. Weirdly enough, she went on to be a producer of children's programs as well. I was reading.
Yeah.
But you've got Danny, like he's hiding in the kitchen, and he while all this is going on with Halloran gets fucking, like you say, he gets fucking killed. Then you've got, as Danny's running away, Wendy hears this kind of chanting, and she sees this bear giving oral sex to this fucking guy in a bedroom.
Right.
Man, this is a scene that everyone's going to be kind of, what the fuck? Why?
And
But
everybody's
you've got a good explanation, I think, for this. So
I do got, yeah. So going back, listening to the novel, there's a character, and we find out, you find out way more about the Overlook. It's way more detailed in the novel about the Overlook. It was once a whorehouse. There was these sex parties and shit. Well, there's this dude named Roger that is in a dog fucking costume in the novel, and it's a ghost in the novel, and he's coming after Danny, and he says some very foul shit. Now, this is what I was saying about King, because King's kind of fucked up for this, in my opinion. But he says he's going to eat him up. He's going to start with his little cock, and I was like, holy fucking shit! I just heard that.
It's fucking crazy, man.
You know, and like I said, the shit in it as well with the children having sex, it's very fucking descriptive, a little too descriptive, and I don't know. But that's why I think my theory is why Kubrick, he knew Jack Torrance was like, King always looked at Jack Torrance like himself, because King had a problem with alcohol. And I think that's why he threw that Playgirl fucking magazine in there, probably from the source material.
I mean, don't want to get anything libel or anything, but I think you could be onto something there. Maybe he thought something dodgy about King, in terms of, what is, let's put it this way, his subject matter on, like Dirk just touched upon. I don't want to say the word, the P word, I should say.
But
so
you got
maybe
a ghost
Kubrick,
trying to, a ghost, pretty much like pedophile type ghost coming at Danny, and then fucking weird, like.
So maybe Kubrick was trying to say something about Stephen King. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people are going to probably hate on me, get pissed off, because I know a lot of people love Stephen King, but that's just, I mean, what it is.
That's just a theory. It doesn't mean that you actually think that Stephen King is a pedophile or anything.
Right.
Like a theory, but
there's definitely something. I don't who fucking knows, to be honest, 100%.
I mean, the evidence is there in some of his writing. Not that he's a pedophile, but I mean, in terms of like he's writing that kind of disgusting,
very descriptive, weird shit. Like
yeah, absolutely. And then you got the whole. For me, now it turns almost like a fucking slasher film. The end kind of 10, 15 minutes. Where you've got Jack literally fucking with this axe, just running around, trying to fucking kill his family.
He kills Halloran.
Yeah.
So we mentioned that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where I was going with Danny, right? This is why I think Danny let him out.
Okay.
Of the storage room.
Yeah.
Okay, you notice after Halloran gets killed, Danny's screaming, right? Where it cross cuts to Danny screaming.
Yeah.
And he's in that little cabinet. He's hiding in the little cabinet, right?
Yeah.
So then Jack says, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy. And I don't know this for a fact. This is just another layer to throw on top of the mix. But you know the song, Oh, Danny Boy?
Yeah, the Irish song. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a song that a parent is wishing their son to come back from war, right? I don't know if that's meant, but that's the only part of the film where he says, "Oh, Danny boy," and it's a parent chasing his son. It's like a distorted version of that. But
Okay, yeah.
but so Danny, soon as Jack's going that way, Danny gets out of the cabinet. He didn't have to fucking get out of that cabinet.
Yeah.
Why'd he do that? I think he's
Dumb, huh?
luring Jack. I think he's luring him to the fucking maze.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think he's luring him to the maze to kill him, so he'll die. Danny's been going to the fucking maze almost every day with Wendy.
Danny knows that fucking
He knows
maze
how to get out of the
inside
fucking
out.
maze.
Yeah.
And Jack
And there's
don't.
that great shot where Danny
Yeah.
retraces his steps and
Yep.
cover, like, that's going back in time for me. I think that's kind of got
Right.
that. And then he obviously covers himself in snow or have you, and all the time Jack's like freezing his fucking ass off.
And then Danny knows the way out. But I mean, there's
yeah.
no reason he should have got out of that cabinet though. Like,
No,
I
that's
know,
right. Yeah.
because I know a lot of times when I've seen the film early, like, years ago, I always thought, well, Danny's just scared. That's why he got out of the cabinet. But nah, Danny's smart. He's been preparing. Like I said, he's been preparing this whole fucking time. And he's got to become, he's got to be the savior for him and his mother, basically.
No, that makes sense. That he's luring his father out into those like wintry conditions.
Into the maze.
But in that scene as well with the maze, like, you get the fucking sound design with the howling wind and everything. It's just superb.
It is great.
Wendy, now I want your explanation of this one as well. So Wendy now starts to have visions herself, which I was kind of confused. So after she sees Halloran dead, she sees this kind of ghost of this man with like almost like where he's been split with a fucking axe down the middle of his head.
Yeah.
And you get that really hokey scene where the skeletons as well.
Yeah, he says it's a great party or something, right?
Yeah. So she's starting to see visions.
Yeah.
What do you think about the skeleton scene as well? Did you think Kubrick made that hokey on purpose? Because it does look really hokey. I do as well. There's no way he was going for authentic fucking skeletons in that. He was just trying to really overly do it. Do you know what I mean? This Wendy sees all the blood in the lift as well. With the lift, that scene too. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, the fuck?
It's like
she's starting to see things now.
I think
whereas
because
she didn't before.
If you go from the narrative, the ghost narrative, right, is the hotel came all the way alive because of Danny. And it's getting more aggressive. Just like in the novel, it gets way more aggressive toward the end,
Okay, yeah. Again, I can't argue. Like, a lot of these theories, I just can't argue with this. There's too much kind of going on that I don't think anyone fucking knows.
That's what I'm saying. Kubrick took just enough pieces away that we'll be talking about this shit till the end of the fucking time.
Why the hell? He's very clever, Kubrick, as well, because he knew by sitting down doing an interview with his definitive fucking way of the story would kind of kill it. Like, once you know, the beauty's taken away from this film if you actually know for real what's going on. Yeah. Because we're like assuming all these different, it's keeping the film going alive, keeping the film.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? In a way.
And that's why the last scene is removed also.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it gives it a definitive ending, doesn't it? With the
it kind of does.
Shot, which he like, people didn't want. Yeah.
So we're getting to the end now. So Danny's escaped.
Yeah.
Wendy's with him. They're about to get on. They're leaving. They've escaped, and that's the end of the film. But the added scene that happened at the end, like, well, let me show you this right quick. So,
okay,
I don't know if people know this or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it. And the last shot you get is Jack. It's Jack in 1921, though, July 4th, 1921, Independence Day. And you get this shot, but I want you to pay attention to the way his hands are placed. So it's just like the Baphomet. And I'm not the first one that's, obviously I didn't come up with this. I found this out from someone else. So can't really recall exactly, but this is the androgynous Baphomet, the male, female. I do got a little something on that. Hold on just a second and I'll find it. It tripped me out though. It's if I can find I got so many damn notes, man. It's crazy. Crazy insane. But no, it's basically from what I'll just go off memory. It's basically LaVeyan Satanism is the Baphomet. Like Anton LaVey, right?
Right. Yeah.
So like the perfect balance between the masculinity and the femininity. And like I had some other facts about Hermetic, the Emerald Tablet, I believe it's called, is the ancient esoteric belief, as above, so below.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As above, so below. So like the spiritual or the high intellect realm, and then below means the material or the physical world, right?
Right. Yeah.
So what I get from it is that Jack in 1921, or maybe even before 1909 or whatever, made a blood pact, and his family throughout the generations are cursed. So he's constantly, they constantly are lured back to the Overlook. So it's going to keep happening over and over. It's not over.
No, I can see that. Like for me, my first original, I thought it was, which kind coincides with like reincarnation.
Yeah.
Of Jack's character.
But it's almost like the man that made the blood pact, he possesses them, each one of them.
Yeah, because there's definitely possession, I think, going on at some point with Jack's
especially
character.
in the bar scene, right? When he's talking to Lloyd and all that shit. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, that's interesting, man, with the cult aspect and
right.
But once you see those pictures side to side as well, it's kind of
I mean, I'll show it again real quick, but it's kind of crazy that as above, so below.
And knowing Kubrick as well with his details, then
and symbolism,
yeah.
He's a big.
We didn't mention there's a scene early on or in the middle of the film as well where Jack's got a scrapbook and it's got all the pictures of fucking all these kind of olden day pictures with the gold room, I believe. And one they're like members in that picture of like famous people at the time, like Woodrow Wilson maybe, and
that's
like
something else that we didn't mention. So at the very beginning of the film, when you go and you watch Wendy talking to Ullman, he's talking about we've had 4 presidents here. He's like we've had so many actors and celebrities, and she says royalty, and Ullman says all the best people. So that tipped me off right there. That like, is this some kind of fucking cult shit going on at the Overlook? You know, like, is Jack trying to sacrifice his family for them for monetary gain because Jack's a piece of shit? Because you know his whole rant that he has with Wendy, and he's like, I signed a contract. Do you realize what will happen to my future and all that shit if he don't do what he's supposed to do for them, right?
Yeah. So, like, do you think Ullman fucking knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
like in the early scene.
I think so.
And he's kind of like,
and the other guy
that makes sense with the other guy as well. It makes complete sense
because he's just like this disgruntled looking fucker looking at Jack the whole time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man, you could look into this so many ways.
It is, man. It's just one path, you know. But that's what I came up with on this go round. So, like, I could review this movie probably fucking, once a year. I mean, so many fucking ways to go after it, you know.
Oh man, like we're
I did
what?
want to show. This is the edition I got.
Go on.
That's the steel book I have.
Oh man, that's the one I want.
Thanks to shout out to Alan, Pop's Movie Dungeon. We traded, and this is big time out of print. But,
Fuck, that's nice, man.
It's simple, but it's
I love the look of that.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's got the hedge maze and stuff to this set, but
is that the Warner Brothers as well? Probably because I think
it's Warner Bros. Yeah,
I've got 3 editions, right? So I've got
okay.
the 4K, which I don't like the cover to that. I'm not mad on that one.
Yeah,
Blu-ray they come out with the different the girls.
Yeah, and
they're all the same editions, but yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the classic. That's the old VHS that I used to have.
That's the image I like. I've also got the Stanley Kubrick collections on there as well.
Yeah,
but I've got the VHS. I've got the DVD. I just couldn't pull them out.
And I highly recommend the box. Any Kubrick fan, man. This is not the coffee table version. There's a bigger version. It's a coffee table, but this is great source of information. I haven't even went through none of the notes of the archives.
So is that the shorter version of the one Sean Clark got? The big?
No. The one that Sean Clark got is the tungsten edition. It's a $1,500 book. That's
the Dirk was this close to getting at one point.
I almost bought 2 of them, and I was going to sell one.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it, man.
There was limited to, I think, 500.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also got this. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. I like that as well.
It is what it is. That's my old phone, but I'm diehard, man, for this shit. And like I said, man, it's I don't know. I know we've went on for a while. I hate to bore anybody.
Shit, man, I've still got quite a bit. If you want to, I'd certainly want to go through like room 237. You don't have to go in like major detail, but the documentary.
I got plenty of notes to go through. If I don't want to bore the shit out of nobody. But
I mean, people can always like come back and watch it in different ways.
Sure.
But the documentary, I don't know. Do you want to go through the if there are any more chat messages first?
Let's see. I don't think anybody's said anything.
Okay.
Nope, nobody said nothing.
Okay.
Right now.
So everyone will know about Room 237, the documentary that would come out in 2012. I'm not going to go super in depth or anything, but so there's a lot of different things going on that people might say is ludicrous. Some people say, oh, that's probably, there could be something to that. So literally you've got the genocide angle, you've got the Native American angle, sexual repression, the Holocaust, numerology, and the moon landings. And the way I see it, there's definitely something to the numbers all being in rows of 7. I don't think you can argue the fact that that's a thing. Native Americans, we said. Holocaust, definitely. Genocide, maybe. But the moon landings is the big one for me. Why would he have an Apollo 11 fucking jumper on? Is it that would knowing Kubrick's detail? Why would that be?
Yeah,
I think unless he's playing with the fact that people think that, and he's just having a joke with them, like, oh, you think that I did that, then maybe there's that tongue-in-cheek aspect.
Right.
I don't know.
Wild Wrangler says keep going, so we're gonna keep going then, man. Appreciate it.
Man, we've got a bit to go, as long as everyone's happy with that. No, I think it could be Kubrick, just tongue-in-cheek, maybe, with the moon landings type of thing. Mm-hmm. But you've got, so the film, how do you think about this as well? Because I know you watched it back to front, Dirk, didn't you? Or you watched it backwards?
I watched the fucking movie backwards. Yeah, I watched
How did
the
that?
first.
How did that go for you? Go on.
The first watch I did, I watched it backwards. It was the first time I ever fucking done that, and man, that's fucking weird watching it like that. So
Yeah, I can imagine, man. Yeah,
it's strange, but I think that's where I picked up on Danny though, where not Danny, but I picked up on a few things that I had never picked up before.
Okay, yeah.
Going through it backwards like that. But the
I'll
thing you're
definitely-
talking about in room 237 though, they're watching it backwards and forward simultaneously on the same
in
fucking
reverse.
screen.
Where they meet, the images meet. Yeah.
They match it up, and it's fucking weird. That is.
How do you feel about the scene where Jack comes on screen and he quite clearly got like a Hitler mustache?
Yeah.
I don't personally.
Oh
I
yeah,
just
look at
think
this
that's
picture. Look.
coincidence.
Speaking of that, look at this picture. There's a Hitler-looking guy right by Jack too.
Oh yeah, I know the guy on about the freak. He looks freaky.
See that shit?
Yeah.
See this guy?
There's
a
two
guy,
actually. There's
two
the one
guys
with the
that look like
glasses
it.
as well.
Yeah, but that guy in the far at the top, he looks more like sinister, But
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's creepy as shit.
But in terms of the different things, so it kind of played like you say back to front or whatever. That theory. I just don't. There's no way Kubrick would have fucking been able to have done that on top of all the days do you know what I mean? He was working on it, and you've got the design changes on the carpet. That's definite because we've seen that they do change. I think you've got the suitcases referring to the Holocaust. I actually think that's a thing as well. When you've got the pile of suitcases we mentioned, the tins, American Indians, like in the storeroom.
There's no doubt about it.
That one make of like baking powder, I think it is.
Calumet.
Yeah.
Yep.
The continuity errors, I don't think Kubrick would have had continuity errors unless they were there for a reason. But Kubrick's fucking face in the cloud at the beginning, there's no fucking
I don't
way.
see that shit at all.
I've tried looking at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I know someone in there are pretty much on the ball when they say it's about. I think it's a film about the past, obviously, but it's about the future. It's about the present.
Time. History of time. Like I think Danny.
Yeah.
Here's another interpretation. I was thinking this time around. I'd never thought of ever was Danny was the future, represented the future. Jack represented the past, and Danny was trying, like he was looking at the past and seeing the horror, but he found his way out, just like the future always will. Time will just go on, right?
When you mentioned that to me last week, that sounds right to me.
I know it's very metaphorical or whatever speaking, but I don't know. It just popped in my head this go around.
No, that sounds completely right to me. But I mentioned like earlier as well, there's a scrapbook scene which we didn't mention when we were talking about the film, but that must have been where Jack sees Delbert Grady because he knew him, didn't he?
You
notice in the film he knew him, but did he? Was it through that scrapbook or did he? Again, it's open.
Well, he said he'd seen him in the papers.
I've seen your picture. He says, yeah.
But I think but see,
he's
that's
referring to the newspaper. Is he from the start? You think?
The newspapers, but that's Charles Grady, not Delbert Grady.
Yeah, this fucking.
You see what I'm saying? Like, there's two Jacks, there's two Gradys, there's two.
I think the Gradys are two of the same. It must be like you say with the surnames and the.
Yeah.
People use different names.
Duality, though. Kubrick does duality in every one of his films.
Yeah.
Like there's mirror, doppelganger type shit going on, but so I do have a this got like mixed reviews, and many said that Kubrick's many critics said his quality had fallen off when he made this film, but he did get Janet Maslin. She praised the film. She said
she's a well-known New York, reviewer. Yeah.
She she called it spellbinding, gloriously diabolical, playful, and a hair-raising pace, meticulously detailed, and never less than fascinating. The Shining might be the only film to make the audience jump with a title card Tuesday, and that's where I got that from. Like
So
earlier.
she's well known for hating on a little bit like Siskel and Ebert. She used to hate
Right.
on, I think, the slasher films.
Yeah.
Can you remember how Siskel and Ebert thought about The Shining? Maybe I should have looked it up, but
Roger Ebert, Siskel, not so much. I believe Roger Ebert. I don't think he said anything bad about a Kubrick film ever.
okay, yeah.
So I did write down. So it was sight. So I'm going to the next one. Sight and Sound critics, right?
Mm.
Paul Meyersberg. He said to take The Shining at its face value is a mistake. It has no face, only masks.
Okay.
Which I thought was an excellent way to sum it up. Like, there's no true, straightforward narrative going on.
You think about Eyes Wide Shut as well, which was to come. Like
Yeah,
when
man,
with that
yeah.
saying, yeah.
Negative reviews were mainly from people's expectations of King's novel. Pauline Kael complained that it was not dark or spooky enough, but she misunderstood other Kubrick films like 2001 and Clockwork Orange as well. She gave those bad reviews as well. Then we have King. He said Kubrick lacked basic understanding of the horror genre. That's what Stephen King said.
What a fucking prick, man.
And so we got King's 1997 version miniseries of The Shining. Compare King's directed horror, any of his directed horror films that he directed himself. Compare that to any of Kubrick's, because I don't think just The Shining. I mean, I consider 2001: A Space Odyssey fucking horror as well. I know it's science fiction, but it's fucking it's like a true horror film to me. And I would say aspects of Full Metal Jacket too.
There's
And
definitely horror. There's definitely horror fucking moments in that.
And a
Full Metal
Clockwork
Jacket.
Orange.
Yeah.
So I can't see King coming nowhere near the talent or understanding of horror film.
King should never, in terms of directing films, King
Yeah.
should never be in the same fucking room as Kubrick.
Right.
Like, man.
But there's a quote from H.P. Lovecraft that, and I know Kubrick was H.P. He read a lot of H.P. Lovecraft, Edgar Allan Poe. But so check out this. He said, H.P. Lovecraft quote. It says, "In all things mysterious, never explained. In all things mysterious, never explained." They're all-time great quote from H.P. Lovecraft. So, and that's, I feel like that's the attitude of Kubrick. Same thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, didn't you say, what was it? He'd only done 13 films, wasn't it?
13 films in 40 years.
Do you think that's why Tarantino's trying to stop? Trying to be another fucking Kubrick? I like Tarantino, but he's not in the same fucking ballpark as Kubrick to me.
I don't know. I know that, you know, let's see. And there's such a wide audience that can watch The Shining. You know, you can get your casual moviegoer and watch The Shining. And then you can get like somebody like a cinephile to watch The Shining. You know what I mean? There's just
I remember being
unique
completely
film in that way.
Yeah, I was completely captivated at 10 years old. So
right.
Even like, you know, we go back to it, you said you were 6. I think people misunderstood the film because they wanted everything fucking written out for them, and so they knew, you know, they don't like the ambiguity or whatever it is in it. They just want it all spelled out for them. I think that's why,
and that's fine. I mean, like my wife is that way, and she'll tell you she's that way. Like Tasha, she don't want an ambiguous. She don't want to watch an ambiguous movie, but she loves The Shining, which is crazy. So there you go. I do have three main themes that I want to touch on about the film.
Yeah.
That I think are probably, in my opinion, the most relevant. Definitely on America, capitalism, and history. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Overlook built on the suffering of others, Native Americans, Indian burial ground, and the racist Grady, authentic Navajo designs, Wendy's wearing, which I've kind of mentioned all that. Halloran tells Danny a lot has happened here, and it wasn't all good. So the capitalism theme of Jack selling out his family for status and financial gain, selling one's soul, we see again in Eyes Wide Shut with Nick Nightingale. You remember that character?
Yeah.
He moves thousands of miles away from his family so he could be with this sex cult, basically, in Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
And then the awareness of the past, Danny sees the horror, and Tony reminds him to not dwell there, or it isn't real, just like pictures in a book, meaning it happened, but don't stay there. Don't stay in the past, right?
Right. Yeah.
Looking at the past, like Tony's red rum saves Danny and Wendy, or looking at the past to not make the same mistakes. So
yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'd like to hope that we kind of done it justice, this film. I know Dirk's like Libra love this. It's like,
yeah, man. I mean, I can, like, I still got plenty to go. Like,
I've still got a few notes if you want to go for a while. Yeah, I'm okay.
It's up to you. It's up to you. How long-winded are you? I don't have a whole lot left.
I don't have a whole lot, but I've got some stuff we can go through. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did want to mention Kubrick was a big buyer of gold in real life.
Yep.
At the time.
He urged people to buy gold. Yeah.
So that's why there's a lot of gold influences in this film with the gold room and all that.
He didn't trust the government, so he urged people to get monetary backing with gold, right?
Yeah.
He told all the people on the sets, and here's something else I didn't mention about Kubrick. He would go talk to the smallest guy. It could be somebody, the cleanup guy, and ask him his opinion on something. That's how down to earth he was. He would get ideas from anybody and everybody, and then he took what was good and what he considered good. Like, he listened to everybody. Like,
yeah. What I didn't realize for years that this was filmed in the UK. I had no fucking idea.
Yeah,
and it's actually filmed just off a place called Boreham Wood in London.
Elm Street. It's not Elstree. Is that what it's called?
Elstree is the studios. Yeah.
Elstree.
Yeah.
Studio.
So the actual look outside is of a real hotel. I think it's of a real hotel. Yeah. But didn't they have?
It was also shot in Colorado.
Colorado. That's right.
And it was shot in Yosemite National Park in California.
Yeah.
And it was also shot somewhere else. Hold on, I got I got something else I'm gonna touch on here in a second. I can try to find all the locations. I think it was like 4 or 5 different locations.
It's part of London. So where they literally had to build this whole like mound of snow to cover where looking out over onto this town of Boreham Wood, which is a well-known town near London, or in London, I should say. So that was that. And they said the bits of snow and the artificial snow and everything would cover like fucking Boreham Wood the next day, like for miles on end, which is funny. I think it's Oregon's Oregon Timberlane Lodge was where it was filmed.
Yeah, Timberline Lodge. That's right.
Yeah.
And so where Jack doesn't acknowledge he doesn't acknowledge Room 237 because he's more concerned for it. Like, I think, I already said that, right? He's more concerned about his status. He don't give a shit about his family. He is doomed because of his status and financial gain, selfishness, ignores the horrors of the world, or in this case, Wendy and Danny. And Kubrick has left us without all the pieces to his puzzle on purpose. An endless journey through The Shining, a thought-provoking people to discuss and debate forever. The perfect film, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. There's something to Kubrick.
I might be
as well,
echoing
so
what I've already said, but I'm sorry.
people are saying keep going in the comments. But so Kubrick, right, said it's a story of a family going insane together. So
Right.
Kubrick's father was the greatest influence on his life. He was a doctor in the Bronx, in the New York Bronx, and he taught Stanley everything to music, chess. I think there's a funny anecdote about the film. So the one guy that Halloran phones to get the snowcat, he used to play chess with Kubrick on set, and Kubrick's this fucking 200 IQ, but he actually beat Kubrick in one game of chess, and he'll never forget it. He said,
"Yeah." And Kubrick used to be a chess hustler.
Yeah.
At one point in his life. So that's pretty
But
crazy.
imagine being able to say that, you beat fucking someone with because he was a grandmaster. Kubrick was a grandmaster chess player, which is insane.
Yeah, he was part of a chess club and everything in his youth.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Anthony saying, "Keep going, boys. Appreciate you, man."
Yeah. Thanks,
and then
man.
Stacy's asking, "Does Jack find redemption?"
That's a good question as well.
I don't think he does. Because in my opinion, I think he has ruined himself and his entire family, but he can just keep coming back, right? Like,
but is it gonna live? Is this all gonna live on again in Danny? Is Danny gonna get to a point where he mirrors his father and becomes a fucking psychopath in the future?
No,
like it's all
like
open
if you go by, like, depending on, because there is no sequel to Kubrick's Shining. I mean, technically, I guess there is Dr. Sleep, and it kind of
but that's arguably he tried to write that inarguably just to fucking make money off Kubrick's film, I think. But go on, sorry.
Wild Wrangler says, "The Shining, riddle me this, Kubrick." Yeah. Akers says, "My interpretation of this movie is that the man and woman idyllic creative couple that can live for their own goals and indulgences does not work. He was raised opposite of those values."
Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Kubrick was making a comment about the beginning of the Me First generation and 70s creative empowerment of the masses.
Okay.
Workers are to work and not indulge too far. Okay.
See, there's so many fucking ways, man.
Yeah, I definitely see that too, for sure. Like I said, I don't think there's one path, though. That's why I said at the beginning, like, I think that there's no end all be all one way. You know what I mean? It's a maze. So, like, in itself.
I know Lorne would have been good to have his opinion, because I know he's very much on the sexual abuse kind of aspect, which I agree.
Yeah.
I think you got to take little bits of every, like, so there's certain things Dirk has said tonight that I'm now looking into, little bits from different people's interpretation and put them all together and come up with some kind of what you feel yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll never have this fucking figured. No one will.
Nobody will figure this one out. Kubrick is not alive, and unfortunately, even if he was, he wouldn't say. Like 100%.
No, rightly so as well. You don't want. It's like a magic illusion. You don't want to know. Do you know what I mean? How that magic illusion works. That's the same with this.
I do got a couple Kubrick quotes though.
Yeah.
He says, "Directing a movie properly is not always fun. You are in conflict with people. If you try to get it right and care about it, it isn't something that's the greatest fun in the world. It's immensely satisfying sometimes, but it is a lot of hard work and a lot of personal tension that occurs with everybody. Compared battles of Napoleon to making a film. That's Napoleon personally did the mathematics and was a genius on the battlefield. Kubrick was considered a ruthless general. Everybody wanted to work with. He had the golden standard, or he was the golden standard, I guess you'd say, in his time.
His attention to detail. So you know the story about the wheelchair. Do you know where they use this kind of like a dolly for the camera we mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Kubrick wanted to put a speedometer on there because he wanted that to go at precisely 6.2 miles an hour. And the crew had to like say to him, like, fucking hell, man, you don't have to go into this detail. Like,
Yeah.
So they kind of talked him out of it in the end. But that
Right.
just like a little insight to what the guy was like.
Um,
Must have been a nightmare at times to work for, but fucking a genius all in the same time.
and then, like I said, in most of his films, it's the duality concept. That's from It's a Jungian concept. Duality
okay.
duality of man, the good and the evil in everyone, the shadow side. The Shining, which Diane Johnson, I haven't mentioned her enough. She helped Kubrick a lot on the script for The Shining, and I think that was her book, right? I think it was called The Shadow Side. I think
So she'd done a novel, but she had no experience whatsoever of doing a screenplay. So her and Kubrick got together and wrote the screenplay, which is kind of great. She don't get the recognition I don't think she deserves, really.
So there was man, I hate that I didn't write this guy's name down. The one guy that interviewed Kubrick, and but he asked him, how do you see the reason of Jack's behavior? He wants to be creative, write, be free. He's bitterly disappointed in himself, has immense rage, married to a woman he has contempt for, and doesn't like his son. He's then put in a situation where he's exposed to evil forces of the hotel, getting into the supernatural side of the story. All the other factors make him a servant for their wishes.
Oh, interesting, man. Yeah.
That's from Kubrick. And that's what I'm saying. It's pretty vague though, right? It's not real.
No, he's not going to tell you, like,
because he says the supernatural side of the story.
Yeah.
Like there's multiple sides to this fucking story. Hold on, let's see. We got some comments in here. Let's see. Stacy said, "Would you like to see mice act this out live action? The maze part, etc., and just them in the hotel, like Stuart Little with that." That'd be interesting. That'd be funny. The best mysteries, Anthony says, the best mysteries are sometimes those that are left unsolved. The questions are often more interesting than the answers. Absolutely.
I think so.
Barry Lyndon actor stopped working as an actor and became Kubrick assistant. Yeah, that's Leon Vitali, and he was Red Cloak in Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, okay.
Leon Vitali. He was the stepson, I believe, of Barry Lyndon in Barry Lyndon.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but Leon Vitali was. I think he worked like 16 hours a day for Kubrick, like constantly.
I know Kubrick pissed off a lot of people because one, like Steven Spielberg, ready to do Raiders of the Lost Ark in the studio, but he was always put on, like, they literally had to wait for this film to finish to do it. So,
well,
which is,
I know that Kubrick was pretty close to Steven Spielberg, though.
Okay, so they probably had a bit of an understanding there.
They were pretty good friends. Because I know Kubrick wanted to do AI.
Yeah.
He had been working on that script and he turned it over to Spielberg for Spielberg to do it.
and that I haven't seen it, but that didn't come out as good as they hoped.
It's not bad. You can definitely see Kubrick's ideas in there for sure. Let's see. He also said, "I accept that everything is true as far as for the story's purposes."
Yeah, which
Whatever the fuck that means.
well, I was gonna say what he's kind of telling you something this you just don't know what the
He's
fuck.
been very cryptic when he talks. So then the guy brings up there's 3 mazes in the film, right?
Okay,
The hotel, the hedge, and the map. And and then Kubrick said, yes, a maze is the perfect metaphor for many things about life. Everyone is giving advice to each other and misleading each other's ideas, which are all wrong because no one knows. If you assume man is fundamentally good in the nature of man, you will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Um,
No, man, I just hope people enjoyed this, you know.
and a lot. I still got some more quotes, unless you got.
No, carry on, man.
Okay.
Carry on.
How disappointing you make the end of a film is, I suppose, a matter of taste or artistic balance or whatever it is. But you always are faced with the problem of, are you going to try to reinforce this illusion, which melodrama fosters, or are you going to try to reflect what one sees in that life? Melodrama uses all the problems of the world and all the disasters which befall the main characters to finally show you the world is a benevolent and fair place, and all the tests and trials and seeming misfortunes which occur in the end, just to reinforce this belief. But tragedy or honesty are at an attempt presenting life in a way that seems closer to reality than melodrama. But can you lead with a feeling of desolation? But certainly the formula approach, which presents the world in a way other than it is, doesn't have merit unless you're just making entertainment.
Shit, that's deep. That is deep.
No shit. Fucking Kubrick, man. Fucking
I
crazy.
mean, what we didn't mention as well, do you know the last one of the last iconic shots of Jack when he's frozen?
Yeah.
That was literally not Jack Nicholson. That was done in like a head now. It looks so fucking realistic. I was like, shit. Yeah. When I read that, I was like, shit.
I didn't know that. Holy shit.
No, I thought it was just Jack, you know, and they freeze framed him or whatever.
Right.
But that was all special effects type thing.
I think I've just about covered everything. I've probably mentioned the rest of the Kubrick archives while we were doing the stream. I try to beat that shit in my head so I don't have to read it, but you know, some of the Kubrick quotes I can't help but to read those. So,
no. I know before we get off here, we could do a fun thing if you want. I've got a little few things I can show that I've recently got in, just, you know, to kill a bit of time or whatever.
Oh, I got stuff to show.
I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, but if you got, we could do a little mini update if you want on the end.
I'll just I'll wait. I'm gonna hold off on it.
Okay, mine's gonna literally take 2 minutes to just go through. Not even that.
Okay.
But that's if you're done with the Shining stuff. If you've got more, then
yeah, I was gonna just try to make sure.
I'm looking through mine. I think we've covered most of what I got, if not all.
Okay, I'm just gonna mention a couple of things.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So Diane Johnson said probably the psychological underpinnings and archetypal enactment of unconscious rage. Kubrick never said outright exactly why he chose it for Jack.
Yeah.
He says first.
Like, go on. Go on.
He says, first, the story has to be exciting, and it has to be something I haven't already done. Other stories he didn't write. Another reason he can objectively judge the story without bias, because he didn't write it. And that's why he chose other. I said that earlier, but that's in his own words. Yeah,
I noticed with him, he's like very fucking intelligent. He's telling you things, but he's not saying a lot. Like, have you noticed?
Well, he does. I think you probably just got to decode what he's saying.
Yeah,
you know?
You got to analyze.
I think I've
that
pretty
shit.
much covered most of my stuff. I'm not gonna bore people with all. I got tons more stuff, but I mean, yeah, I'm pretty happy. Hopefully
I think we covered that pretty much how we wanted to.
I'm not gonna say because there's a ton of people that's covered The Shining on YouTube, and I know we're Rob Eggers, is probably the best there is. But and there's other ones too that I've seen.
I mean, Dead Pit done a pretty good show as well.
Yeah, Dead Pit. Yeah,
they covered it well.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy. We got to finally tackle this very intimidating film, to discuss. But it's, it's my favorite film of all time. But yeah, we got some comments. Hold on, we get the chat, and then I guess you're going to show your stuff after?
Yeah, go through the chat. I'll literally be like less than a minute. I'll just show you. I want to show you a couple of cool things I got.
All right. Let's see. I think I read that. If not Steven Weber, who would you have cast in that era? Timothy Hutton, Dermot, Maroney, Gary Sinise.
I don't know any of them, I don't think. I probably would by face.
I would know him by face. I'm not.
The thing is with that, I actually think Steven Weber.
Miniseries.
I actually think Steven Weber is it's not that bad in the miniseries. He is kind of one of the better things about that. But I don't know. And I'm trying to think of someone else as well in that who I would say, but
you got Jack Nicholson's son.
Okay, there's a good answer.
He looks just like Jack, damn near.
Yeah.
And he's an actor. Mikey Madison asking price just went way up with her win over Demi Moore. Damn. Okay.
I was guessing Demi Moore wouldn't win the Oscar, to be honest.
Wow. Okay. If Jack said no, would you have cast Gene Hackman?
That would have been a good fucking fit, actually.
I don't know though. He's quite a bit.
Who else
older.
would you say? Yeah. So who else would you say around
I can't see nobody else in that role at all.
No, I'm trying to think. 1980. Klaus Kinski. No.
Shit.
That would have been a fucking film. Klaus
Kinski for sure. Holy shit.
It would have been realistic. Can you imagine that? Oh, why the fuck didn't we get that version, man?
Oh yeah. I could show you my Detroit Rock City DVD. Yeah. Let's see. Have you met Vivian Kubrick? She is good at clearing up truth versus fiction about the movie. I never met her. I know that I know she did run off and went and got into Scientology though. Did you know about that?
Oh shit, did she?
Yeah. During Eyes Wide Shut, that happened. Which is oddly enough.
I did. Yeah, man. I did listen to the commentary she does over the making of. And did you notice with that as well? I forgot to mention, Jack Nicholson's kind of creepy towards her.
Yeah.
Did you notice in the making of?
Rob Eggers has a theory on that though. He thinks that all that is staged. He thinks the whole documentary is staged. He thinks Kubrick staged it. I did forget to mention one thing. Over 1 million feet of film was shot for The Shining.
And I mean, where's all that fucking extra footage gone, you know? Oh, man. People chuck...
Yeah.
I know knowing Kubrick, he had it destroyed, but... Yeah.
Pacino, Walken. Yeah.
I can see that.
I could see... not Pacino, though. Not for me. maybe walking. Jan Michael Vincent.
Okay. Yeah.
Next time I watch The Shining, Dirk and Darren will be my commentary on the film. Awesome. Hell
Yeah, I'm glad you feel that way. Thanks, Walt.
I appreciate that. Wow. Gene Hackman,
Gene
rest in
Hackman.
peace. Definitely. That is very odd. I don't know all the details on that, but
That's
kinda
a
strange.
weird case where
Yeah.
I think they ruled out the carbon monoxide poisoning.
That's what I heard.
theory.
No, they don't really know. Last I heard. So I think
She
the
was
dog died
found-
too, right?
Yeah, but she was found. She had opened a bottle of tablets or something.
Oh,
Do you know what? I actually think they could have maybe been self-suicide, but I don't know. We'll find out in the coming months or whatever year.
toxicology report.
Because he looked awful. Like, he was 95. He looked terrible in his last pictures.
Mm.
But I could, just go through it quickly.
Yeah.
I want to show. So I got this. I know this is nothing really to ride home about. Just the latest edition of Dark Side. Anyone who's interested.
Awesome.
But what I wanted, so I got the new edition of Crawl Space, Kinski from 88 Films.
Yeah.
Which I got out of like
Kino put that out too. Kino and 88 must have the same links to shit. You know?
I was listening today. Someone said that Hazel Laughing Windows is not going to be brought out by Arrow because Shameless have announced it. So I don't know. Dress to Kill 4K, which come in this week. So I'm pleased to have. I love that film.
Arrow.
Fucking one of my own. I know Dirk won't particularly like this, but this is the brick edition of fucking Cruising.
Yeah.
But this is the one I want to show. I got this in today, funny enough, on a Sunday. So this is Edgar Wallace fucking box set. This contains 33 fucking Edgar Wallace, all the Edgar Wallace Crimmy films.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like bonus disc in there. And let me just see if people can see that. It's German, but a lot of them are English. It's like English subtitles and English audio when it happens.
Hell yeah.
But I had to, man. I've been looking at it for so long. It's got like a fucking insane tracks and like a book.
Hell yeah.
I mean, once we do start to dive in, man, when we do the Crimmies, then yeah, it's gonna come in ideal.
Right.
But yeah, that's the only a few things I want to show.
That's cool. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
This has been a monster fucking edition of the show.
Yeah, dude. Like,
I'm glad though, because I know like we both wanted to do this.
Yeah, I mean, can you think of another film that you could just one film where you could talk 3.5 hours?
This very similar to Eyes Wide Shut. I was streaming with that because that was like a 3-hour one.
Yeah, if y'all haven't seen it, go check out the Eyes Wide Shut stream if you want to. I think we did that one pretty. We prepared pretty good for that one as well.
And I've not seen 2001, so I would imagine we're going to cover that as a one-off at some point as well. So, you know,
I definitely would like to do 2001 and A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, but I think they're better doing singly, and they.
Yeah. Definitely.
I definitely want to. There you go, man. There's two straight away that I want to do.
Let's see. Stacy's asking, please share when you saw Shining in cinema if you did. I didn't see it in the theater. I was 6 years old when I first saw it. And I saw it on TV, of all things. It was blurred out. But then I've seen it again, but it always fucked with me, man. As a kid, like really hard. Like it was pretty. I mean, 6 years old watching The Shining is the first, and I didn't see it from the beginning, like because I know you wasn't in here earlier, but I walked in, and it was the bathtub scene was the first scene I ever saw. Like with the
that give you fucking nightmares.
Yeah,
I was lucky. I seen this in the cinema like 3 or 4 years ago. Because funny enough, in one of my editions, I've got. Let me quickly fucking grab it. I know I've got the cinema fucking. I keep the fucking tickets and shit. And of course, now I'm looking. It's not in that one, but it is in one of them. Unless I fucking misplaced this, just do it quick. Oh, there you go. So there, the Odeon ticket must have been about fucking 3 or 4 years. Oh, 19. 23rd of October 2019. £7. I know you can't see it probably, but it's there.
Okay.
So, but that's an experience, Dirk, when you get a chance to.
Well,
fucking
damn
cinema.
right, man. I just ain't had the chance. You know damn well I'd be there. Like,
Oh
shit.
yeah. And I'm
Let's
not
see,
sure. I don't think it was 35 mil. I thought it was maybe just a DVD, Blu-ray or whatever. But
Anthony Elliott says cast Steve Martin, and that's funny you say it because Kubrick was going to cast Steve Martin for Eyes Wide Shut. At one point,
I'm not sure about that, man. I'm not sure.
He was going to use Woody Allen or Steve Martin. Fucking shit.
Well, for Tom Cruise's.
It was going to be a comedy. He was thinking about making a comedy.
See, I think Eyes Wide Shut and The Shining are both like, because we know
they're counterparts.
We didn't give out, we didn't give our rating, but it's quite obvious. It's a fucking 11 out of 10.
The Shining's the most perfect film ever made in the history of mankind. So, like, that's just in my opinion. Let's see. The Shining 1980, 45 years in 2025. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Got my Graveyard Shift 4K from Kino. Okay.
Nice, man.
Yeah. Graveyard Shift 1990, 30 years in 2025. Bought Ice 1988 slasher film, first time on Blu-ray. No DVD, I think, only VHS tape.
I ordered that yesterday.
Yeah, I got it too.
Uncle Bill, man, I was watching Dead Pitch stream and Uncle Bill mentioned that it's on like 20. Ice was. Yeah. For some reason, I didn't get the cover. I don't know if it's still available, the slip cover, but I'm not bothered about
that.
Yeah. But I got that Forgotten Jolly 8 to come, Red Rings of Fear, which I can't wait.
Yeah, I got that coming for sure. And if y'all think about it, just,
How do you like it? How do you like it?
That's a keeper, man. That's the keeper.
Yeah. But I guess we're gonna get out of here, man. This has been a blast doing the research. I mean, we watched it. That's all I watched this week was The Shining, and
yeah, man, same.
And listened to while I'm at work. I was listening to the audiobook of the novel and documentaries on Kubrick and like holy shit.
I bet Tasha will be happy to have you back now this week.
Yeah, because I've probably been rattling her ears apart with nothing but Kubrick and The Shining and all this wild ideas and theories. But I appreciate everybody. I mean, we've had pretty steady crowd in here most of the night. So I appreciate everybody. Hit the like button. Consider subscribing. Next week we're getting on some Soledad Miranda.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know who that is, check her, look her up. It's very unfortunate. She died at the age of 27. So, but she would have been a megastar, I feel like. But we're gonna cover some of her films, and
can't wait.
That'll be a good one. But I appreciate everybody once again for coming in, and y'all take care.
Have a good one, guys.